Hey there, you're watching the second segment of the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet in-game tier list. If you haven't seen the first segment, I don't know how you found this video, but you can click the link in the upper right. Alright, let's ranking together with us. Also, stop telling me that Azumarill should be higher. If anything, it should be lower, okay? 50 base speed is atrocious. Hello there, and welcome to the second segment of this in-game tier list. Now, yesterday I got hit by Leech-like, buffed to 80 base power, and I lost 400 milliliters of blood. I think someone else got it from me. I also slept for like 4 hours. I'm a little delirious, so if stuff I say doesn't make any sense, Dearling. Dearly Beloved, very good song. Now, it's a normal grass type. That doesn't sound very good, and it's not good, but luckily this thing does get a pretty good move called Jump Kick. And I've just learned a new move called Jump Trick, because it doesn't actually get Jump Kick. Previously, it did, but for whatever reason, the developers looked at the behemoth known as Sawsbuck and decided, better nerf it, and they cut Jump Kick. Have some mercy, why don't you? Well, without Jump Kick, you just get a very, very average Pokemon. Why would you ever use this thing? Answer is you wouldn't. Middle of like Area 4? It's not that bad. You can probably find some sort of use for this thing, but like, why did they nerf it? The Sawsbuck stops here. Sad. Golden Deer House in shambles. Should have picked a Pokemon that uses axes, I guess. Last comment about Sawsbuck, I guess. A chatter in all caps, shouting, Serene Gray's headbutt is good, I swear, into the void, as we move to the next Pokemon. Grimer! Slow defensive poison type. No thanks. It's really bad, guys. Paldea's finest around here, like, it's better than Gulpin, but not by much. Also, Muck is a fairly late level evolution. 38 levels for this. This isn't that bad, right? The stats are like okay, but like, come on. Pure poison, 50 base speed, top of Paldea's finest. Well, we can move it up a little bit. We can put it like here-ish. So glad they finally added Jen to Pokemon. One step closer to playing Yokai Watch, an actually good game. So I currently sextuple dog dare you to use Maboschiff. You might want to take me up on that, because this thing's pretty good. High Area 2-ish? Pretty good stats. 85 speed is enough. 120 attack. Very nice. Intimidate, good ability. Guard Dog, good ability. What does Guard Dog do? Well, if your opponent intimidates you, just kidding. You actually get stronger, because we need more abilities that interact specifically with Intimidate. Wow. How many more ways can we indirectly nerf Intimidate? Level 30 Evo? Not bad. What do we have for coverage? Well, Stab Crunch, and I guess Elemental Fangs. Base power is a little lacking. I think this would be an Area 1 Pokemon if it had better moves. Play rough with him. Yeah, we can move this guy up a little bit. He's a good boy. We'll put him at like the top of Area 2. Now, some people might really like Mabosstiff because it features pretty prominently in the story, and they say that this is the best story Pokemon's ever had. Maybe that's true. It's still bad. And I personally don't like dogs. Despite all of my emotes being dogs, I'd say the story is pretty rough. Really wish he was a dual type. That would have helped a lot. But great stats. By the way, you've probably noticed by now, every single Pokemon in Area 1 eventually becomes a dual type. Except for this Pokemon who doesn't actually fight. People say Arrokuda's not a dual type. It is. It's min-max type. Girafarig. Finally, after decades of waiting, we get an evolution. Our base stat total goes up. We go from 455 to 520. Our base speed goes down. We finally get an evolution. And we get worse. Evolve in a later gen and don't lose speed challenge. Impossible difficulty. Why do they do this? Where when Pokemon evolve, they get fatter and slower. Why? So what stats actually change? You gain a ton of bulk. You gain 10 attack, which you don't care about. You gain 20 special attack, which is like kinda nice. It's like not much. And you lose 15 speed, which is a huge deal. Because you were barely fast enough to begin with. And now you're definitely too slow. I actually think that Girafarig is unironically better than Farigiraf for in-game, which is what we're ranking. Now, although we just dunked on its evolution for being worse, Girafarig itself is not that bad. As far as Pokemon with later Evos go, Girafarig didn't really need one. It's okay. Very bottom of Area 3? You get a decently fast psychic move? I guess you also happen to be a normal type for whatever that's worth. I would put it next to Sylveon? Sure. Top of like Area 4? I guess Farigiraf's unique ability, Armor Tail, protects it from priority moves. But every move is a priority move because you're super slow. Awful. I guess it would theoretically stop First Impression, which you're weak to. Does any NPC actually use First Impression against you in this game? I don't think so. Big jokes from Frosty Flakes. Girafarig is okay, but Farigiraf is a pain in the neck. Haha. Toxel. Completely useless until it evolves into Toxtricity at level 30, at which point, it's pretty good. The evolution tax is much lower in this game because of party-wide XP share, so I think we're going to put this at the very bottom of Area 2. A couple mechanics in this game do really help it. So consumable items are no longer truly consumable. You can use them once in a battle, but then you'll gain them back after the battle. So this is really helped by Throat Spray, which gives you +1 special attack when you use a sound move. And this Pokemon loves using sound moves. Look at these stats. Not bad at all. Just about fast enough, and good special attack. Now there's actually 2 different forms based on your nature. You can either go to Amped form or Low-Key form. Their stats are the exact same. Their move pools are different by 1 move. So Amped form eventually learns Shift Gear, raises your speed by 2 and attack by 1. I don't know why you would use that, because the best in-game Pokemon don't set up at all, they just kill you. But you can, it's a good move. Low-Key form gets Magnetic Flux. Pop quiz, what does Magnetic Flux do? Did you know? Well, here's the answer. It does nothing. Dedenne. The best thing I can say about this Pokemon is that during my study abroad program in Kyoto, I went to a Pokemon club, and one guy, his trainer name was Dedenne, and he had 6 Dedenne. I guess he really liked Dedenne. And then another guy came up to me and said, "Ratias is my waifu." And then I left. So, it's my experience with Dedenne. What do you expect? It's terrible. It's Dedenne. Good typing, I guess. Here you go. 101 speed. You'll probably go first. And then what? Ugh. Data next. Ugh. Shroodle. Into Grafaiai. Great availability. Okay-ish Evo level. And the stats are not bad at all. They're actually pretty good. The typing. Normal poison. Can you think of a worse type? Pure normal, I guess. Or pure poison. Combine them and what do you get? A bottom of Area 3 Pokemon, I guess. It's not that bad. 110 speed is great. 95 attack is, like, almost good enough. If you just changed this to something better, this Pokemon would be pretty good. Level 28 Evo. It's okay. You can slash him. You can slash him. You can U-turn to a better Pokemon. Knockoff Giga Broken in competitive. Not actually that good in-game, because most Pokemon don't have held items. Gunk Shot. 80% of the time it works, assuming your opponent doesn't resist poison, which they probably do. Ugh. Pachirisu. I hope you liked using this thing in Diaper Remake and Legends Arceus, because it's back here. It won the World Championship, so it must be good, right? Catastrophic. We're done, right? It's so bad. We can at least use this as a learning experience. If you want to know how to clap in Japanese, it's 8 over and over and over and over, because 8 is hachi, which sounds like pachi, which is the sound of clapping hands, and that's why this thing is named Pachirisu, because it's clap squirrel. Let's hear it for Pachirisu. 888888888. Stantler! Finally, after decades of waiting, Stantler got an evolution in Legends Arceus. Now, if we compare the stats, later Gen Evo, don't lose speed challenge, impossible difficulty. I don't know why they keep doing this, but you do gain very relevant boosts. Weirdeer actually does hit a lot harder, and notably, it gains a secondary type and stab, which is really important. And this isn't a regional form. All you have to do to evolve into Weirdeer is use Psyshield Bash 20 times. So you should be able to get it in this game. You have to use Psyshield Bash 20 times in Agile style, which is not in the game. Pretty cheeky of them to call it Agile style, even though your evolution reduces your speed. Well, that's fine. You can just transfer it from Arceus, right? Like, you at least can use it in the game. There's no home support? So you're telling me that you're paying for a subscription service that doesn't do anything for several months. Do you know what we call paying for a product and not getting anything? A scam. So what you're telling me is this thing doesn't evolve, even though it does. Oh my god, this thing is horrible! Like, why would you ever use this? What? I guess you can access the full power of Stantler without having to evolve. Give me one good reason why home support is not available at the moment of release. Give me one reason. And don't tell me for competitive national decks. They can just limit competitive to the national decks themselves, okay? That's not a reason. Now, if you actually got the product you paid for and you could evolve, I'd probably put it around here-ish. Weirdeer's okay. Wish it was in the game. Doesn't it hit harder and faster than Jigglypuff? Yeah, we'll put it above Jigglypuff. Put Stantler above Wooper too? So sad. Alright, sorry Wooper. At least they're hugging again. There's a suspicious presence. Among Us. Let's be clear. Horrible typing. Horrible stats. Horrible move pool. Based on that alone, this is a Paldea's finest Pokemon. But what really, opposite of elevates, de-elevates this Pokemon from horrible to unholy is the evolution level. Level 39. For this. A Nova moment. Horrendous. I think Spidops is... Hoppup's definitely bad. This thing's terrible. At least it can put things to sleep. That's something. Now, this thing has a lot of traits that shine in competitive, using, fittingly enough, Rage Powder. In-game, it's terrible. Voltorb. I think we can review this in one sentence. It's really fast, so it goes first. And then what? Here-ish? People in chat will always try to find the best. Choice Band Explosion with Terra Normal. Hey, you get Terra Normal in the game for free. An actual cool suggestion in the chat, it'd be neat if Voltorb had a unique ability that let it survive exploding with 1 HP. I think that would be neat. Still wouldn't be very good, but very neat. It'd probably be a lot better if it had a secondary typing. Even if that typing was something lame like Grass. That would still be worth a lot of extra utility. Maybe they'll do that later in like DLC or something. Magnemite. Hope you liked using this thing in Daipa Remake and Legends, cause it's back here. Magneton. Pretty great stats, look at this. 70 speed is a little slow, but they changed the Magnezone Evo, so you can get in the zone immediately with a Thunderstone. Makes it better, right? Later Gen Evo, don't lose speed challenge, impossible difficulty. I think that Magneton is actually better, because you don't need more special attack. You have plenty of special attack. You need more speed. At 70 speed, you need every point you can get. So don't evolve. Don't get in the zone. Check moves. I hope you like electric and steel. Because that's all you're getting. So at the end of the day, all you get is a really strong Thunderbolt, but hey, that's pretty good. It's actually faster than Ampharos, so I think this is probably going to be a high Area 3 Pokemon. I think it's better than Luxray. We'll put it next to Toxel. We've got a circuit going here. Circuit City, out of business. Ditto. Is this the worst Pokemon in the game? It might be. Pretty ironic that it's called Metamon, and yet the only meta it's in is Paldea's finest. So you can copy your opponent's Pokemon, which is probably bad, and it costs you a turn to do it because you can't get Imposter normally. Becoming a bad version of your opponent. Sounds bad to me. At least Blissey apparently has 75 base special attack. What does Ditto have? By the way, if you could get Imposter, I think this would still be the worst Pokemon in the game. So the fact that in the criteria of this list, you have to pay the 1-turn tax every single battle makes this thing just unspeakably bad. Awful. Also keep in mind that most trainers tend to lead with their worst Pokemon. So if you try to use Ditto at the start of the battle, it's just gonna be very, very bad. But if you save it for like the end of the battle, what are you doing? I guess it's a little better. The only place where I could possibly see Ditto having a use would be if you got an Imposter one. You can Scarf it and copy one of Super Boss Nemona's Pokemon, but that's a post-game battle, so I'm not counting it. Who let the dogs out? I septuple dog dare you! Growlithe into Arcanine. Really good stats, and it's a Stone Evo, which in post-Gen 8 games is broken. I think we'll put it with the other Stone Evos. Very, very good stats, and you get the cheat by being a Stone Evo. Nice. This dog might be red. Look at these green stats. Let's see the relearn moves. You can relearn Flare Blitz. Area 1 coming right up. I really wish this thing was a dual type. Maybe they'll add like a regional variant that has a dual type, even if it was a bad one like Fire Rock. If you're hitting things, Fire Rock is fine. I think the typing is just tainted because it's associated with Slugma males. We might even put this next to the Armor Bros, because somebody said you can get this in the Cloth area, and yeah, you can just Firestone it immediately, so... Good dog! That's... Teddy Ursa into Ursaring. It's been decades. Finally, Ursaring gets an evolution. Now, Ursaring on its own was actually not that bad. I mean, this normal typing is pretty disappointing, as is this 55 base speed, but the rest of it, not bad at all, especially this 130 attack. So it didn't really need an evolution, but it definitely appreciates, oh, the Ursaluna evolution. Look at this. So you gain a secondary type in ground, which is amazing. You are invincible physically. Later gen evolution, don't lose speed challenge, impossible difficulty, of course. You lost 5, but you know what, you're probably going second anyway. Now this is an item evolution. You just need a Peat Block, so that makes it even better, because you can get it instantly, right? Oh, it's only in Legends Arceus? Well, that's disappointing. Why do they do this? At least I can't say that it's horrible. It moves second, but at least it hits really hard. That's something. It's what Glaceon does, basically. How do you like being compared to Glaceon? Glaceon has a better offensive typing. If Ursaluna was in this game, which it 100% should be, I'd probably put it like bottom of area 2. It's like invincible. And it'll 100% kill you. Like, no shot you survive. At least there's an explanation for why we can't get Hisuian Pokemon in this game, right? Because Hisui is like in the ancient past, and this game has nothing to do with time travel. Zangoose. Really sad that it's a normal type, but as far as normal type 1-stage Pokemon go, Zangoose is pretty good. It starts right away at full power, it'll go first, and it'll do a lot of normal type damage. Very unexciting, but very usable. High Area 3? Did you like Tauros? It's back, and it's edgier. If you haven't seen Zangoose's stats, here they are. Great. Toxic Boost is literally just worse guts. Gut. It's not even plural. But if you could get it, it would be great. Seviper. Rivals with Zangoose, so it's about as good, right? We can be snake friends. Pure poison type, so that's not good. 100 offenses, that's okay. 65 speed. Slow, frail, mixed attacker. Truly a Hoenn moment. I guess we can at least, we'll put it like next to Umbreon. Actually, yeah, it's worse than the Dunsparce. This thing is probably worse than Stantler, to be honest, but we can make a 2-segment chain here, right? We'll keep the snakes together. Swablu. Swablu's completely useless. Evolves into Altaria, who's slightly better than useless. Being part dragon is good. It at least has the option to dragon dance once and become kinda okay, which is more than a lot of other Pokemon can say, so very bottom of the area 4, I guess. Remember Mega Altaria? That was cool. Bring back Megas. Skiddo into GoGOAT. Well, you know what GOAT stands for, greatest of all time, and it's on the champions team. If it's good enough for the champions team, it's good enough for yours, right? Horrendous. Just horrendous. How much did the herbivores pay to be in this game? We got Deerling, we got Stantler, we got GoGOAT. 531 base stat total. That's a good base stat total. What is this? Why is it a mixed attacker? Just put like 30 of this in attack, and this thing might be usable. Look at these moves. I can't believe I'm wishing that I also had a normal typing. Bulky, slow mixed attacker. And it's not even from Hoenn, so flavor fail. Like, the nicest thing we can say about GoGOAT is that you can move relearn Earthquake after you evolve into GoGOAT, and I guess you can, like, bulk up and try and do something. You're still going second, though. Sad. Fun fact? I don't know if fun's the right word. GoGOAT has more special attack than Golduck, Articuno, and Kingdra. People really hate Altaria, so let's do this. Let's put Altaria below Skiddo so it looks like Skiddo's kicking it. How about that? Get some real stats, why don't you? We're building our own 2D art here, okay? Paldea and Tauros. Should be pretty easy. Tauros has always had great stats. The main thing holding it back was that it's a filthy pure normal type. What happens if you give it one of the best dual typings in the game? Good Pokemon? So Tauros has 3 forms you can get. There's Combat Breed Tauros, which is pure fighting. Then there's Blaze Breed, which is firefighting. And then there's Aqua Breed, I think, which is water fighting. All 3 of them are really good. I don't know why you would ever use pure fighting. You should definitely go firefighting or water fighting. Probably firefighting. So firefighting gets memed on a lot because of, you know, the triple firefighting starters, but it's not memed on because it's bad. It's one of the best dual stabs in the entire franchise. So this is base Tauros. 110 base speed is excellent. It's actually a little bit too good. And 100 attack is good enough usually, but it's a little bit low. You'd like to have it a little higher. Make a regional form and don't make it slower challenge impossible. They made it slower, but not in a way that actually matters, and they made it stronger in a way that definitely does matter. Excellent Pokemon. All of the special breeds have the same stats. They all have this stat spread, which for a stage 1 Pokemon, really good. You also get 10 more defense if you care about that. But at the cost of 40 special attack. How could they do this? Nerfed! I will mention that it's a little annoying to encounter the special breeds because you probably need to use an encounter power sandwich, but you're gonna be making a zillion sandwiches in this game anyway, like that's not that much of a downside. And they all get a signature move, Raging Bull, which always matches your stab type, so you will always have a really strong stab move to use. And it destroys screens, which doesn't matter, but it does. Smashes through the screening process and into Area 1. And this doesn't affect the rating, but I'm kinda surprised that none of the gym challenges featured like bullfighting. Although maybe that's because real-life bullfighting is pretty brutal. Not like this is a franchise about making animals fight each other. Litleo. Jared Litleo. Everyone loves him, right? Decent enough stats once it evolves. 106 speed, that's good. 109 special attack. Hey, I know a Pokemon that has 109 special attack and is also a fire type. Has a better secondary type though, because fire normal, like why'd they even bother? 35 levels for this. Rivalry does nothing because it only affects our physical attack, which you're not using anyway. Unnerve does nothing. If you get to level 35, it's fine. Gets a pretty high tax for that. Middle of Area 3? You have so many better options. Pyroar on its own is okay. Also, why wasn't this Lysander's ace Pokemon? Hello? Why does it have a Mega Gyarados? Who's in charge of that decision? Stunky into Skuntank. a Pokemon all about foul smells. So no surprise that it stinks. You wanna tell me what it's gonna do with these stats? Maybe go first? Probably not kill the opponent. 34 levels for this. Civ Viper has better offenses, and it doesn't have to evolve. Worse than Civ Viper. Also, I hope you liked using this in Diaper Remake and Legends, cause it's back in this game. Zorua into Zoroark. Fast. Good special attack. It's okay. Bottom of area 2. The availability is kinda, nah. You can get this thing outside the Poison Star base. It's kind of annoying to find because it's disguised. Illusion, as far as I know, doesn't really do anything. I guess you can trick the AI, but Illusion is like a defensive ability, right? Defenses don't matter at all. Outspeed the opponent and kill them, which you can probably do with Zoroark. This thing would be way better if it had like a secondary typing. Maybe one of like the best dual typings in the game. They really took Illusion literally by having the audacity to put H Zoroark in the trailer, but not in the actual game. They really got us. Sneasel. Justice for Sneasel. Because, no joke, you can evolve it in this game. Into Weavile, who's really strong. Welcome to Area 1, buddy. It's a little bit late. Pretty much have to wait for the Ice Mountain, but once you get there, you can pick up a Sneasel. You can immediately evolve it to Weavile. You can also just catch a Weavile. Really fast, really strong. Ice and Dark, obviously catastrophic defensive typing. If you get touched, you explode. Don't worry, touch them first, okay? And then they'll die. They even added a new evolution into an even stronger form. Glad they're finally showing some love to Weavile. Also, I hope you liked using this thing in Diaper Remake and Legends Arceus, because it's back in this game. You getting pretty tired of me saying that? How tired do you think I am of using the exact same Pokemon over and over again? Murkrow into 𝐻𝐋𝐃. Finally, this guy is the boss. A Stone Evo with good stats? Let's go. The Crow has one weakness. I think you already know what it is. Murkrow. 91 base speed. Good enough? These offenses? Not good enough. Evolve it up to 𝐻𝐋𝐃. Oh, 125 attack. You'll love to see it. Later Gen Evo don't lose speed challenge. Impossible difficulty. Why'd they do this? 71 speed is sometimes good enough. I would love to see an 8 here, but I'll take it. Catch a Murkrow. Get stoned. You won't regret it. Hits hard. Also, apparently Murkrow is one of the best Pokemon in competitive at the moment. Prankster Tailwind. Pretty good. Also, I hope you liked using this in Diaper Remake and Legends, because it's back in this game. Gothita. Here's Gardevoir. Gardevoir is pretty good, right? I think it's actually worse than Trump. Pure type, so that's off to a bad start already. A decent offense? Did I say decent? Pretty lackluster. 65 speed, not good. 41 levels. For this. A Nova moment. We're even being extra generous because look at this! Kirlia sucks, but at least you get to Kirlia early. Level 32 just to go to Gothorita? Hello? No thanks. 95 special attack on Gothitelle. 97 on the goat. Lamau. Oh yeah, why isn't this thing a dark type? That would make it way better. If this was dual dark, I think I'd at least put it in area 4. It's not though. If you're watching the premium, you're lucky because we just spent about 15 minutes trying to find out how to brew a cup of tea. Polteaghast stats. Really good. This Pokemon, theoretically available early? Depends. So, to evolve it, you need either a chipped pot or a cracked pot. Crackpot Gaming. So, one of those evolves, like, authentic Sinistea. It's really confusing. The way to get the guaranteed evolution pot is to win the auctions at the weird, seaside town. there is a static spawn of the Evo item, but it only works on like some Sinistea. It's really annoying. So if the stars align, you eat a ghost encounter power, you catch this thing outside Zapapico, and then it happens to be able to evolve with the static pot spawn, then I would probably put this in the bottom of Area 2. You gotta get real lucky for that. So considering the hoops you have to jump through to brew the perfect consistent cup of tea, probably gonna put this at the bottom of Area 3. I think it outperforms a lot of these Pokemon, but it's pretty annoying to actually get this thing. There may or may not be a static spawn of the pot that evolves any of them in the lake area. I am actually going to consider that difficult to obtain because the performance of this game is so bad that I don't want to go to the lake. I'm serious. I'm seriously penalizing it for that. Cracked only does phony. Okay, so the one that isn't cracked is in the... It's so confusing. I think on average it's here, right? We're fine.
Hold it!
Hey, voiceover imported cheese here. After further research, I think the static spawn pot from Port Marinata can almost certainly evolve whatever Sinistea you get, so this should probably actually be in low Area 2, I guess. Good stats. But it's a filthy pure type. Mimikyu. Single stage Pika clone? Good typing. Iffy availability? Good enough stats. Top of Area 3 Pokemon? This thing is not Area 2. It's got really good type. And it's got an insane ability, right? Disguise negates the first hit it takes. You can set up for free with this, but all of these Pokemon set up for free by just hitting really hard to begin with. If you could get Mimikyu at like the start of the game, I'd probably put it in Area 2. But yeah, it just does not hit hard enough without the setup. If it just had a little bit more attack, give me like 20 more attack, I'd put it in Area 2. The best part of Mimikyu, its busted ability, literally busted, because like the disguise busts, it doesn't really apply to in-game. 𝐿𝐹𝐃. Amazing type. Steel Fairy? Oh, could not be better. What are you doing with these stats? Not much. So 𝐿𝐹𝐃 excels at being very annoying, which doesn't actually do anything. So we'll put it like above Bronzong, I guess? I'd probably rather use this than Bronzong. Like 80 base attack Stab Fairy is not bad. I think having said that out loud, I'm gonna keep it here. Also, this thing is insanely overpowered, like best Pokemon in the game, if you're doing a Nuzlocke, because the keys beat every lock in the game. Indeedee. There's a job search site called Indeed. Probably search for other Pokemon to fill the role of in-game. It's okay. This is probably one of the first Pokemon we're ranking that I think actually gets a very big penalty for availability. This is like at the very end of the game pretty much. It's like level 50-ish, and it's like not that good. Put it like here. If you could get this earlier, and if you could get it with Psychic Surge, maybe be like a middle of Area 4 Pokemon. But this is getting like really late game. So this is actually like an availability penalty. Now, Indeedee actually has two different forms. It has male and female form. The male form has 105 special attack, which, I mean, like, this stuff is fine. You definitely want to use the male one, though. The female one, you can see its stats here. It specializes more in defense. 95 special attack. GoGOAT's got 97. He can't keep getting away with it. Oh! 69mega.com. Megas are back, guys. Tired of... They saw GoGOAT, and the bots had to have some of this. Banned. Bramblin into Bramblegast. So it is a Let's Go Evo. Takes 1,000 steps to evolve. So it's basically an instant Evo. That's good. It's a grass type. That's bad. The Pokedex entry is so sad. Apparently, a soul was on its way to the afterlife, ran into a tumbleweed, and got turned into a Pokemon. A grass type at that. Sad. I'd rather go to hell. Jigoku da. Yeah. Now, these stats are almost good. 90 base speed, good enough. 115 attack? Actually great, and you can instant evolve to this because of the Let's Go. I'm sorry, what moves are you using? Power Whip, that's pretty good. Too bad it's level 55 and a grass type move. I guess the best thing you could do is Loaded Dice Bullet Seed. It's not that bad, is what I would say if it wasn't a grass move. If this thing got a good physical ghost move early, I would actually probably put this in low area 2. Horrible move pool. Also, it basically doesn't have an ability, because this is meant to work with Tailwind, and there's like 5 double bows in the game. Great. I think this is probably gonna be like a, I don't know, like top of area 4 Pokemon. Actually good stats. Completely killed by being like a mono grass type attacker. Hello? Yeah, we're gonna put this below Leafeon. We're planting a field here. We're trying to harvest some apples and some tumbleweeds, invaded. He's really small. Toedscool. Cool Pokemon. Evolves into Toedscruel. So exact same stats as Tentacruel. I'm not gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna say better typing. Grass is, nah, ground is good. And 100 base speed is really good. Horrible ability. I can't even call it budget Mold Breaker. So Mold Breaker just lets you ignore your opponent's ability as you attack them. Mycelium Might makes you move second. So goodbye to your good base speed. But your status moves ignore the opponent's ability. Which already sounds really niche, but it's actually worse than it sounds. Because what's the main ability you want to ignore? Well, you want to ignore their sleep immunity, right? Because you're a mushroom and you have Spore with 100 base speed. Except, what's the main sleep immunity? Vital Spirit, right? So you get attacked, I sleep. Attack ends, I wake. Because the negation of Vital Spirit by Mycelium Might ends after your attack. Hello? Useless! So what does Mycelium Might actually cut through? It'll cut through good as gold. I don't think you face a single golden go in the entire game. Overcoat. And it'll go through Purifying Salt, which you will face. Also, they clearly should have called Mycelium Might Mold Maker, right? Come on. So forget about trying to spore things. How about actually trying to fight? 80 special attack, Seed Bomb, Hex, Giga Drain, level 54 Earth Power, level 58 Power Whip. No, thank you. I'm feeling low area 4. Even if you're forced to move second, Spore is something. It's pretty useful. You can use it to catch things, and eventually you have okay moves. Yeah, actually, this thing's really bad. Remove him down. Watch out, Toedscool. You're right in the line of fire. Be careful. No. Probably would be Area 4 if it had better moves. Because the Mycelium Might penalty only applies when you're trying to status. Most of the time, you have 100 base speed and you're probably going first. I think just for fun, if we had no Mycelium Might, 100 base speed Spore, I'd probably put this at like the top of Area 4. And consolation prize for Toedscool, best walk cycle in the game. It is hilarious. Tropius. I'm gonna try not to say anything for this. I'm just gonna let the chat review this one. You guys know which emote to use. Break out the Tropium. Hoenn's Lomiest. One of the worst single-stage Pokemon in the history of the series. Check out this footage of an Elite Four member hitting me with Sunny Day Solar Beam from Tropius. Look how much damage this doesn't do. Justice for Tropius. Let's put him with Sunkern. Also, it has terrible availability. It's worse than Sunkern. I'd rather use Special Agent Spidops, okay? This has one of the worst stat spreads I've ever seen. You really couldn't give it 100 HP? Come on. You know what? At least Hoppip's actually in the game. It just keeps getting worse. Oh, past the Tropium. Oh. If any Pokemon deserves better, I think it's Tropius. There's no reason for it to be this bad. Also, Tropius for some reason is like pathetically small. It's way smaller than you'd think. Alright, well at least after Tropius we get a break from bad grass types, right? Fomantis into Lurantis. Oh, pure grass. 45 base speed. 105 attack is okay. 34 levels for this. What kind of moves do we get? Slash, X Scissor, Leaf Blade, Brick Break, Poison Jab. Oh, no thank you. Oh, if only it were actually a bug type. Then at least it would get Stab, Leech Life. Sunflora is better? You might be right. At least Sunflora is a Stone Evo. Now, Lurantis used to have Contrary Superpower. That was a pretty fun gimmick. Probably would have put in Area 4. Nerfed. I guess it was just too strong. Cloth! One of the Titan Pokemon. Single stage Pokemon, which is strange. Really feels like this thing should evolve. Mono Rock. I wish it was a dual type. Wish it wasn't a rock type. 75 base speed. Barely good enough. 100 attack. Barely not good enough. Anger Shell. Theoretically a good ability. So if you get hit, which will probably happen at some point, and you get knocked below half health, you get a mini Shell Smash. You get +1 to your offensive stats and speed, and you lose 1 in both defense. That makes you really strong. Unfortunately, it takes forever because you get a proc for every single stat change. It's 5. Move pool is okay. Rock Slide, high horsepower eventually. X Scissor, Rock Tomb, nice and early as Stab. As an early game Pokemon, it's okay. It gets outclassed pretty quickly. In fact, pretty much everything in Area 1 outclasses it immediately. But I can't quite say this is Paldea's finest bat. I think I'm gonna put this like low Area 4, yeah. It's like, it's a bit of an early game single stage Mon power spike in a game where you don't really need that. You can just get Pokemon that are really good to begin with, that spike it even harder. Oh, it's better than Sudowoodo. Yeah, let's put it above Sudowoodo. I think that's fine. Now, if you happen to get the blue shell variant, maybe you'd put this higher up. You gotta be real lucky though. Also, shoutouts to the ambush animation. This is a Pokemon that was so important, they made it a Titan, and they really couldn't give it a proper ambush animation. Looks ridiculous. Cacnea. What region is this Pokemon from? 7.8 out of 10. Too many slow mixed attackers. Great attacking stats. Kind of okay move pool here. You get Stab, Energy Ball. You Bullet Seed nice and early. That's fine. Sucker Punch kind of helps bypass your bad speed. Maybe sometimes. It's very finicky. You get Brick Break. Thunder Punch. What if you took like 30 of this and you moved it over here? It would be so much better. As it is, this thing gets hit and dies before it can actually hit back. You could Trailblaze with this thing. That helps it a lot. Doesn't help it enough though. I'm gonna say it's better than Toadschool. Unfortunately, it takes super effective damage from Stunky. Theoretically does more damage than Toadschool, but horrific defensive typing, which does matter because you are going to get hit. And you're probably gonna die. Shoutouts to being a scarecrow that loses to every bird. Nice flavor. Rellor into Rabsca. This Pokemon's on a roll. It is a Let's Go Evo, so 1,000 steps to evolve. So pretty much instant evolution. And when you evolve, you become Rabsca. Bug Psychic, I guess Dottler, whatever the final form is. Couldn't even wait 2 generations to get another Bug Psychic. Decent bulk, really good special attack. 45 speed, uh-oh. Hope you like Bug and Psychic moves. Electro Ball. Electro Ball with 45 base speed. I don't want to play ball, no. Power Gem. Dazzling Gleam. Shadow Ball. Energy Ball. This guy's ballin'. Earth Power. Okay, decent moves, decent moves. I think considering instant Evo and pretty good moves and good offense, just really bad speed, I think I'd honestly rather use this than Electrode. So this thing goes first, probably doesn't kill the opponent. This thing goes second, probably does. Okay. We've got balls. Played college ball, you know. Yeah, at UVA Academy. Tried Naranja Academy. Could have been in a higher tier if I had better base speed. Joke would have been better if it was a version exclusive. Venonat. People really love Venonat and Venomoth. Like, they really love this thing. It's cool. Psychic bug that's not actually a psychic bug, come on. Also, this thing owns most of the land in Area 0. It is everywhere. Press Quiver Dance to win the game. Eventually. I'd rather just have good stats without dancing. We'll put it, like, below Surskit. Like, these Venomoth stats are nothing special. But hey, with Tinted Lens, you don't mind so much that your stab sucks. You can Quiver Dance once and do some decent damage. 31 levels for this. But hey, Quiver Dance on Evo, it's pretty good after you Quiver Dance. But you should probably use a Pokemon that doesn't have to do that. Pineco. Despite Fortress inexplicably having Maglev technology, why does this thing float? A slow defensive Pokemon. No thanks. We'll put it with these guys? It actually has like shockingly high attack. Like 95. I guess you could Gyro Ball them. I guess Fortress shows that even if you spin, you might not win. $5 donation from PK Smokey. Why do you call it Pineco and not Pineco? It's a pine cone, not a cat. Yeah, it's probably Pineco. Sorry. You're gonna hate how I say Sweenub. I know it's Swinub. Alright, deep breath. Scyther! And from now on, I'm just gonna say it normally. Scyther and Scizor, they actually have the same stat total, but Scizor is literally Game Freak telling you, hey, steel types are better, because we consider it an evolution. Scyther, Area 1, you obtained it pretty much right at the start of the game. 500 base stat total, fast and strong. Good Pokemon. Technician Aerial Ace. Technician Bug Bite, not that exciting, but how can you deny these stats at like level 15? And of course, Technician Dual Wing Beat, right? I guess we only have one wing in this game. Hey, Sephiroth's pretty good. He's only got one wing. By the way, Dual Wing Beat is in this game. Just for some reason, they didn't give it to Scyther. Scizor. One of the very few actual trait evolutions in this game. So, Scizor has more attack than Scyther, 130, but it doesn't really need more attack. It needs more speed because this thing is significantly slower than Scyther, but with better defense, which doesn't matter. It swaps the flying type for Steel, which is definitely an upgrade because Steel is amazing. But I think that considering we do penalize trade evos in this game because trading is pay to win. Because you have to actually have Nintendo Online, like a completely separate service that you pay for. We do have to penalize it. This is going to be like a bottom of Area 2 Pokemon. It's really strong, you get it really early. If you can pay the trade tax, and you can bullet punch them, yeah, you'll do some good damage. Technician Trailblaze, how about that? You need Nintendo Online for local trade? You can do local trades without Nintendo Online, but let's be real, how many people can actually do local trades? In 2022? I think that Scyther would be even better if there was like some sort of middle ground between Scyther and Scizor, not quite Steel, maybe like Rock, where it lost a little bit of speed but not too much, and instead gained like a better secondary type and more attack. That would make this thing even better. Maybe in like the DLC. 130 attack, hidden ability sharpness, he's coming. And as a consolation prize, sheer force. But as an actual consolation prize, in a better game than Scarlet and Violet. Not by much, though. Heracross! One of the strongest single-stage Pokemon ever. Incredible stats. Unfortunately, it is not in the game. By that I mean, like, it's very late game. So, although Indeedee is, like, late game, and, like, why would you use this? Heracross is late game, and yeah, I would use this. Middle of Area 3? It's very good! This is mostly getting penalized by the fact that it's like super late game. It's like 50 plus, right? I don't think there's an earlier Heracross than that. Also, you remember using this thing in Diaper Remake and Legends? It's back in this game. You actually might not remember this from Diaper Remake because it's a honey Pokemon, so you probably never even saw it. I think there's a Pokemon here. It's a Flittle hard to see. Alright, well, let's look at Flittle stats. Oh, horrible! Okay, well, when does it evolve? Oh, level 35? Oh, I don't know, man. Espartha's stats? Well, these are actually pretty good. Opportunist. Very interesting ability. It's like a passive psych up. So if your opponent boosts their stats, you steal their stat boost. Well, you don't steal it, because they keep theirs, but you also get them, you copy them. That's pretty useful, because there actually are some story battles, specifically the cars, where they'll keep boosting their stats, and you can also boost your stats. I think what really makes Espartha actually worth using, I hope you didn't invest in Luma Coin, because this thing's gonna hit you with Luma Crash, which is not on this list. Maybe it's an Evo thing. Lumina Crash, 80 base power special, so 10 less than Psychic. What do you get in exchange for that? Harshly lowers target special defense. Ever heard of a move called Seed Flare? I hear that move's pretty good. So Lumina Crash, strong enough to actually just kill things? And if they survive, well, they're not surviving the next one. Which is especially useful against boss Pokemon. So you do have to invest quite a lot into this, because like Flittle sucks. But I think we actually are going to end up putting this around Gardevoir. I think Gardevoir is a little better on its own because it's got the dual typing and it hits harder. But Espartha with the Lumina Crash utility is actually good. Also, this thing destroys Eri, the fighting type Starbase commander, who's probably one of the most difficult fights in the entire game. So it might be worth using just for that. This would be higher up if Flittle wasn't such garbage. You should just catch Espartha in the desert. You can do that. But then you can't get it until the desert, which isn't that bad. Hungry Hippopotas. Evolves into Hippowdon. Great physical stats. Slow. Has Sandstream, which is normally a huge upside. Sandstream is one of the best abilities in the game. Instantly starts Sandstorm. Unfortunately, in-game, that's kind of a downside, because it hurts all of your teammates that aren't Ground, Rock, or Steel type, and also, it takes forever! Sandstream on its own adds like 30 seconds to every battle. No thank you, like, that's actually a penalty. I think Hippowdon is a perfectly competent Pokemon, but I would rather not use it. I think we're gonna put it above Fortress, is that alright? I guess it does get some credit because if you actually want to do sand stuff, then Hippowdon actually enables you to do that. Also keep in mind that sometimes your weather abilities will just fail because of overworld weather. It's way too strong to be below some of those guys? I don't think so. Look at this. 47 base speed. You could put this higher, it's got really good physical stats, but I personally am considering Sandstorm to be a downside. Otherwise you could put it with like Nummel. I don't like sand. It takes forever, and it gets in every turn. Sandile. You might remember this guy from the thumbnail of the Gen 5 in-game tier list. Gets an ability called Moxie, which is pretty good. Busted. Ground Dark, great stab type. Good enough speed to outspeed everything, good enough attack to kill your opponent's first Pokemon, which is usually your weakest, and then after you get that first Moxie boost, it's over. The rest of their team is dead, 100%. Nothing can stop this thing. The only reason why this thing isn't higher is because the final Crocodile evolution is kinda late. It's level 40. But Krokorok is okay, and once you get the Crocodile, I guess you can try using other Pokemon, but you don't really have to. Crocodile will finish the rest of the game for you. American history lesson. Former US President Richard Nixon famously said, "I am a crook, a dial." And then he swept the rest of the game. Definitely a true story. Don't look it up. We might cut that, that's pretty dumb. Croc buddies, look at this. Now we've got a pair of Crocs. Silicobra into Sandaconda. Do you like Hippowdon? It's faster. That's something. And the sand is optional because it doesn't actually activate until they hit you. Don't tread on me. And while you're at it, don't use me. My Sandaconda won't.
I mean, you can just run Shed Skin to not have to deal with Sand Spit, which I think is an upside. So you should probably do that. Yeah, we'll put it above Hippowdon. Worse physical stats, though. We can move it up a bit more. I mean, 71 base speed isn't great, but like over 100 base attack and stab Earthquake, it's not that bad. I'd probably rather use this in like Lechonk. Just don't get Sand Spit. Mudbray. Saying that this game is bad is beating a dead horse. Well, this horse is never dying. 100 HP, 100 defense, 85 special defense, great bulk, stamina. If you get hit, you just get harder to kill. 125 attack with stab ground, that's good. 35 base speed, that's bad. Level 30 Evo, acceptable. High horsepower, level 28, whoa, okay. Earthquake, a level 40. 𝐿𝐿𝐃𝐿, Rock Tomb, Rock Slide. Ooh, Body Press. Well, you have better attack than that. Iron Head, that's okay. Stone Edge. So super strong physical attacker. Good enough move pool, really slow. So I think we'll put this in the crew of really strong but slow attackers. Around here-ish. Fire Moth. I can't actually say the name of this Pokemon too much or else the stream will get demonetized. This thing is basically a pseudo-legendary. Larvesta sucks. And it's Larvesta for a really long time. Eventually, I think like high 50s, it evolves into Fire Moth. And then the game is over. Is the investment worth it? You can use it in like 2 battles. I think I'll put it at the top of Area 4 because if you get it too, its evolved form, the hardest battles in the game are at the end. You can press Quiver Dance, and I don't know how you lose. I don't think you can. So for that, if you want to do that, Area 4. Until those last few battles, it's useless. Can't you just say the Japanese name? I guess so, but then nobody knows what I'm saying. Yeah, this thing is very good against the Nemona Super Boss battle, but we aren't counting that because it is endgame. Also, Quiver Dance is not even that good in that fight because of Unaware Skeledirge. You can at least get Larvesta kinda early, it's in the desert, but yeah, this thing just sits in your party, taking away XP from one other Pokemon that could be soaking up XP, for eventually a pretty good return. I think this is a below average investment opportunity, but you will eventually get your returns. I wouldn't call this a fraud, you know exactly what you're getting. Bagon. Maybe it's Bagon. Either way, once it reaches Salamence, you can tell your opponent, be gone. This is something I would describe as a good investment opportunity. Where's Haxorus? I think we'll put it just below Haxorus. So Axew and specifically Fracture are much better at fighting than either Bagon or Shelgon. Bagon and Shelgon both suck. But you get Haxorus at level 48, you get Salamence at level 50, so just a little bit later. Still fairly early for a pseudo-evolution. And level 50 versus 58 is actually a pretty huge difference. It's 58 for Volcarona. Uh-oh. YouTube, please don't demonetize me. It's actually level 59 for the Fire Moth. So you actually get way more use out of Salamence. But only level 50 for Salamence, and Salamence is obviously one of the best Pokemon in the game. So with Salamence, you can probably just win, or you can press Dragon Dance and definitely win, if the occasion calls for it. Alright, this is not financial advice, but Bagon, invest now. Let's watch out though, I heard they use Shelgon corporations. Bagon girls in your area. A couple seconds later, Megas are back. They know that Mega Salamence is vaguely in this game. Hot dragons in your area. Banned. Pretty fitting that we just used Tinkaton to defend the stream from Steel-type bots. It's Tinkaton. One of the most beloved Pokemon this generation for sure. Little girl, big weapon. A JRPG trope as old as time, so of course Pokemon is super late to the party. Fairy Steel, one of the best typings ever, so A+ there. 75 attack. This really feels like a Pokemon that should have huge power, but it just doesn't. Really disappointing attack stat, and no, Gigaton Hammer does not make up for it, unfortunately. This thing needs a better ability. It should have something like Scrapper. You've heard of Scrappy. What about Scrapper? Where you're like always super effective against steel? That would be great. Why doesn't Gigaton Hammer make up for it? Even when you're using Gigaton Hammer, it's like you have an okay attack stat, and it's a steel type move, and you can't use it consecutively. Also, 38 levels for this. Ugh. Absolutely Area 1 in terms of popularity, but this isn't a popularity contest, okay? We're here to do serious analytics. I don't think I can do better than low Area 3. In fact, we're gonna make another power pair here with Smoliv. They're both worried about their futures. Don't cry. People love you. Hey, and at least Tinkaton gets to be a main character in pretty much every stream going forward. It's always gonna be here to defend us against those steel-type bots like this. Thank you for your service, Tinkaton. Just hope that we don't get bots 2 turns in a row. Hatterene. This thing is basically Smoliv, but with a way better type. Psychic Fairy, pretty good type. 136 special attack, wow. 29 speed. Wow. You're going second. You should just use Gardevoir and go first. But I think the typing is so much better than Smoliv that we're gonna put this here-ish. I think I'd rather use this than Hariyama. Of the goes second and kills the opponent Pokemon, Hatterene is one of the better ones. By the way, why does this thing have 90 attack? Grimmsnarl. Fairy Dark typing. I like it. 120 attack. I like it. 60 speed. I don't like it. Level 42. I don't like it. This thing gets like 2 signature moves. It gets Spirit Break. 75 base power Fairy, lower special attack. Really good in raids, but you aren't counting that, so I'd rather use Play Rough. And then it gets False Surrender, which is just worse than Kowtow Cleave. I think it has the same effect, where it'll never miss, but it has 5 less base power. So, Dark type has 3 feint attacks. One with 60 base power, one with 80, one with 85. Finally, a Dark Pokemon game. Look at all of these Dark type moves. You can Elemental Punch Out, that's good. Also, 95 special attack is not bad at all. It's pretty good. Not as good as GoGOAT though, get wrecked! Overall, a pretty good Pokemon, great type, great attack, and a ton of utility that doesn't apply to the actual in-game playthrough. But Prankster lets it do a lot of really fun, useful things in raids. Very high Area 3 Pokemon. The 60 base speed is really disappointing. I'm actually gonna knock it down a bit for that. Top of Area 3. The speed is probably the worst part about it. Speed and high evo level. Bombardier. This might be the most okay Pokemon in the game. Oh, who needs Titans when you could get Megas? You wanna find love? Our AI will help. Third bot of today, right? So it's like 11 overall? That's crazy. It's a dual type. Flying Dark is good. It sort of has 3 stabs because its hidden ability here, Rocky Payload, basically gives it stab on rock. That is a hidden ability, but you can get it by catching the Titan. So you beat the Titan, and then you just reload in the area, and then you can catch a special one. That then has Rocky Payload. Having a 3rd stab type makes it much better, because its other 2 abilities are just useless. So you look at the stats here, Pokemon Yellow version, but you could do worse than this. 82 speed is good enough. 103 attack is, I think I would call it barely not good enough. But it is a single stage Pokemon that's available early, so you get the full power right away. Dual Wing Beat. Scyther Shrieking. Can we get some good Stab Dark moves, please? Thief? Ugh. Stab Acrobatics is good. This is like the most half-hearted Area 2 ever. You can get it early. It's got 3 stabs. Very bottom of Area 2. I don't think I can put it lower. Finizen into Palafin. It's pretty ironic that the heroic Pokemon is the most pay-to-win Pokemon in the game. The true hidden villain, Masuda's minion. So evolving this is kind of like a super trade evo, because you have to actually be in a union room and then level up past like level 37. So we do have to penalize it for that. So Palafin 0 is its base form. It will always enter battle as Palafin 0. Pretty unexciting stats. Looks C tier. In order to activate its ability and go to hero form, you have to re-enter a battle. It can do this pretty easily by using flip turn, deal some damage, and switch out. That means that somebody else has to take a hit. Great hero. Once you're actually in hero form, these stats are pretty good. 100 speed, that doesn't actually change, but that's more than good enough. You've got some serious bulk. You have 160 attack, which is, of course, gigantic. However, I don't think this is quite as good as it looks. For a couple reasons. One is, there's a lot of work to actually do this. You have to pay to win, and you can never actually start with these stats. You have to set them up. And although 160 attack is very big, remember that your ability slot is 0 to hero, so you don't have an ability. So a Pokemon like 𝐎𝐿𝐴DE, even though it has less attack, it actually does more damage because all of your attacks hit 50% harder because of sharpness. I think because of all of this, and considering the pay-to-win tax, I think we're gonna make this thing the Guardian of the Sea. I am not spending a turn every single battle to go hero mode. A turn that involves another Pokemon on your team getting hit and having to be healed later. No thanks. Broom! Poison Steel type. That's unfortunate. The evolution, Revavroom, has Overcoat, so it gets absolutely destroyed by Mycelium Mite Spore. Sad. Great stats? 90 base speed? 119 attack? Looks pretty good. When does it evolve? Level 40 is pretty bad. Now, I'm not penalizing it for this, but this might be one of the least flavorful Pokemon ever. It's a car that flies for some reason. Why is it not on the ground? It learns Magnet Rise? And I think they say that in the Team Star storyline, they need like more Charcadets or like Armarouges to power the Starmobiles and like make them fly. But it like flies anyway, for no reason. I actually think there is a reason. I think the reason is they don't want to animate it actually rolling over the ground. I actually think that's the reason. It makes no sense that this thing flies. How's the move pool? Iron Head and Poison Jab, so solid stab options. Unfortunately, those stabs are steel and poison. Bulldoze is okay. Okay, this move pool sucks. Okay typing. Great stats upon evolution. Terrible move pool. I think all that considered, we're looking at an Area 4 Pokemon here. However, there is a way to be one of the greats. If you get the hidden ability, which I'm not counting, you can unlock Varoom's true power. Slow start. Mentored by Regigigas. The hidden ability eventually becomes Filter, which I would rather have instead of Overcoat. Cyclizar. Has anybody seen that meme where it's like, born too late to explore the Earth, born too early to explore the stars? Obviously, Koraidon and Miraidon are way better than Cyclizar, but what do we get in the present day? We get Cyclizar. Is it any good? Dragon normal, so we're a dual type. I guess that's better than Dragon. Yeah, it's fine. 121 speed? Great, you're going first. 95 attack? Wish it was a little higher, but for a single stage Pokemon that's available early, not bad at all. Now this thing is of course giga broken in competitive because I hear Regenerator's pretty good, and it gets a signature move called Shed Tail, which is like a switch out move that also leaves a sub. Disgusting. But the things that make it ridiculous and competitive do not apply to in-game, sadly. What do we get in terms of move? Breaking Swipe is okay, and you get it early, level 14. Shift Gear, that's a good move. You might want to use that, although it really is just +1 attack because you're faster anyway, right? Double Edge, hey, that's stab. Thunderfang. Acrobatics, good. U-turn, okay. Crunch, okay. Ice Spinner, okay. Yeah, we got some okay moves. I think considering it's available early and starts with pretty decent stats and eventually gets pretty decent moves, I think we're looking at like a high Area 3 Pokemon. Or I would rather use this than Zangoose. Alright, people want me to put it at the very bottom of Area 2. We'll do it. Single stage good. Orthworm. This thing looks kind of familiar. Onyx, is that you? This thing is basically in between Onyx and Steelix. Steelix is definitely better because it has the secondary ground type, but Orthworm is like okay. It's better than Onyx. 65 base speed is pretty bad. 145 defense is great, but who cares about defense? 85 attack is not good enough. Do you like ground, rock, and steel moves? Wish I got stab on ground. Steelix, where are you? As an ability, it gets Earth Eater, which is basically better Levitate. It's like Levitate, except you don't dodge entry hazards, which don't really exist in this game anyway, and you absorb ground instead of just dodging it. Really lacking in attack. I'm thinking this is actually like a high Paldea's finest. I'd probably rather use this than Stantler. We'll put it with Pineco. I guess it's Pineco. Look at this. 4 segments versus 3. Sableye. Ghost Dark typing. Pretty cool. Absolutely useless stats. I mean, we can look at the moves, but it doesn't matter. Take your pick of Keen Eye or Stall. How about you pick a different Pokemon? Pass the Tropium. Awful. I'd at least say that it gets Dark Ghost Stab, but Dark Ghost is probably the most useless stab combo because Ghost and Dark have pretty much the same coverage. It's like very similar. Tropius is better than Sableye. He's downwind of the Tropium now. It wafts directly to him. Shuppet evolves into Banette. Banette? When does it evolve into Banette? 37 levels. For this. 115 attack is pretty good. Speed 65, excuse me. You can sneak him. 40 base power though. Can't use Shadow Ball. Phantom Force, lol. Do we at least get Shadow Claw, right? Oh, we do. Okay. Oh, that's good news at least. Look at all these special moves it can't use. What? What? Horrible move pool. I'm feeling finest, I think. Where's Cacnea? This thing's worse than Cacnea. Banette, more like Bannet. I think there's a way you could improve both Banette and Sableye. If you increase their stats by like, I guess 100 maybe? Change their abilities? That'd make them a lot better. You think they'll ever do that? Maybe in Pokemon Z. Okay. Phalanx. Usually single stage Pokemon are pretty good. Pure fighting, so not a great start since it is a monotype, but hey, fighting's not a bad monotype. What kind of stats do we have? Almost good. 75 base speed is okay. 100 attack just doesn't cut it. Now, it does get a signature move. You can use a move called No Retreat. Gotta get to level 40 first. Gives you an Omni Boost, which is great. But then it has the downside that you cannot switch out. You might want to, because this thing... Like, what moves are we using? We're using fighting moves. I guess we get Mega Horn. Why aren't we a bug type, by the way? Trailblaze? Rock Tomb? Smart Strike, you wouldn't do that. Zen Headbutt? Not a great move pool. So this Pokemon sort of assumes that you're gonna No Retreat, because after you do that, it's got good stats. I just hope you can win with Phalanx. And if you can't, I guess one of your other 5 Pokemon can probably do it. It is at least decently early. I think because Last Retreat, which is probably its strongest gimmick, takes until level 40, we can't quite give this full single stage credit. It's okay. Middle of Area 3? Now do keep in mind that segments do matter, okay? Because Seviper is 1 segment, the Dunsparce is 2 segment, Orthworm is 4 segment, and Phalanx is 6 segment. How long can we go? Hawlucha. I hear single stage fighting Pokemon are pretty good. Does this thing get used in any speedruns of any games? So if you cooperate and have 6 segments, you can have these stats. What if you concentrate all your power into 1 segment? Hawlucha. It's got less attack, but you get a dual typing, which means you can go ahead and do some acrobatics. That's very nice. And you're 100% going first with 118 base speed. People say that Kalos is in the DLC. Kalos hates this thing. Single bird takes on the entire region. I think we can call this a much better move pool than Phalanx, right? Seems the earliest you can get this is level 25, so you only need 1 badge to control it. I think we're gonna pile drive from the top ropes. Not quite Area 1. Its attack is a little lacking, but it's great. Maybe top of Area 2. It's like a really good single stage fighting flying Pokemon. I can't really think of another one that might outperform this. Spiritomb, the forbidden Pokemon. I don't know why they sealed this thing away, yet allow abominations like Sableye to roam free. Spiritomb did nothing wrong. Alright, well 35 base speed is, that's something wrong. Good defenses, who cares? Not good enough offenses. I do care about that. It's not that bad, but it is fairly late game. I think all of its spawns are in and around like the Ice Mountain. So slow, bulky, not very impressive. You have way better options by the time you get Spiritomb. So we put Indeedee here. They're available around the same time, and I think Indeedee's better. We're putting Spiritomb here so that these two can hug again. Also, I hope you liked using this thing in Daipa Remake and Legends Arceus, because it's back in this game. Been a while since we said that. Noibat and Noivern. Well, what are Noibat's stats? Uh-oh. Well, it's got a good evolution, right? It's okay. What's the evolution level? $48 levels. For this. I told you earlier to invest in Bagon? Don't worry. No rush to invest in this thing. What? Useless. At level 48, you could get either Noivern, or you could get a Garchomp if you invested properly. At least after you evolve, you can, like, throat spray Boom Burst. That's pretty cool. Never mind, Boom Burst is level 62. Forget about it. You can invest all of this XP to boost your better attacking stat to 97, only to match the worst attacking stat of GoGOAT. Below Altaria. You know what, I think that's a good benchmark. I think, yeah, this probably ends up being worse than Altaria. Also getting kicked by GoGOAT. You might be a flying type. You're still gonna eat my dust. New investment opportunity, Dreepy. Should you be putting your XP into Dreepy? Let's find out. Eventually, you'll get Dragapult, Dragon Ghost. Good type. 120 attack, good. 100 special attack, more than GoGOAT. 142 speed, you are going first. How much do you need to invest? Level 60, that's more than the Fire Moth. What? What kind of moves do we get? Dragon Darts is pretty good. I think it's upon Evo, so level 60. Can we get a physical ghost move, please? No, Phantom Force does not count. You can Shadow Ball. 100 special attack's not bad. Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, Hydro Pump, good special move pool. I'd rather put my XP into the Moth Market, but you could go ahead and also invest into Dreepy Stonks. I'm not gonna say you're gonna Dragapult into riches, but you could do worse. You do eventually get something pretty strong. Remember Poltergeist? That was a good move. It's just a memory now, though. It's not like Poltergeist did anything in single player anyway, and I don't think Dragapult ever even got Poltergeist. We'll at least mention for Dreepy that its move pool is pretty astonishing. It is dead weight until you evolve it. Literally dead. Ghost. Glimlet into Glamora. It's the champion's ace Pokemon. It's gotta be good. Rock, Poison. Interesting typing. I don't know if I'd call it good or bad. 130 special attack. I'd call that good. 86 speed. I'd call that good enough. Level 35 to Glamora? Okay. So, Glimmet is really hard to find. You definitely need to eat an encounter sandwich for that, but you can do that. What kind of moves do we get? We were looking for Special Rock. That's unfortunate. Power Gem at level 39? Huh. I guess you have special poison moves. Ugh. Dazzling Gleam's pretty good. Flash Cannon, I guess you could use. Earth Power, that's good. Energy Ball? Okay. Yeah, not too bad. Toxic Debris is an interesting ability. It lays toxic spikes when you get hit. You shouldn't be getting hit, but I mean, this is better than like Aftermath. I would definitely suggest setting this out first in a battle, especially if you consider yourself to be an expert trainer. Top of Area 3-ish? I think it's comparable with Grimmsnarl. I think Grimmsnarl definitely has a better typing, but this thing's faster by like 20 points, which is quite a lot. Rotom! It's motor backwards. Amazing creativity. Electric Ghost is pretty good, but it won't be Electric Ghost for long because you almost certainly want to shift it into one of its appliance forms, because the appliance forms all have the same, better stats. Rotom's really flexible. You can actually adapt it to any type that you need. All you need is the catalog. How do you get the catalog? I think it's in an auction. You can catch Rotom by the town with the auctions. So you can go get the catalog and switch up Rotom however you'd like. I hope you liked using this in Daipa Remake and Legends because it's back in this game. I think given the reasonable stats and the very useful flexibility, this is going to be a kind of underwhelming, very low area 2. You get these Pokemon earlier and I think they're a bit stronger, but this is still like okay early and it's not bad. You don't have to invest at all. You just have to pay for the catalog. What else are you using your money on? And most of the Rotom forms are pretty good. They all have at least Electric as a base, and most of the secondary types are really useful. Electric Fire, great. Electric Ice, good on offense. We can end up, we'll move this down to like Mimikyu-ish level. Mimikyu is probably better. I would just advise you, if you don't want to trivialize the entire game, don't use Rotom Fan, because it's just going to make the rest of the game a complete cakewalk. It's sort of a self-enforced rule to not use Sky High Rotom. It's too good. Rotom is more available and more flexible. It's better than Mimikyu. Sure. Sorry, Mimikyu. Alright, you know what? We're not going Sky High. We are going to Area 2. Flexible. Poundstone. Septuple dog, dare you? I might have missed a dog. There's a lot of dogs in this game. Its actual stats are very whatever. Too slow. Not enough attack. You can fix the too slow with Sand Rush, but probably not in an in-game team. Level 30 from Greavard to Houndstone, not too bad. Although this is getting fairly late. I think the earliest you can find this is on the Snowy Mountain. Moves learnt upon evolution. Last respects. 50 base power ghost move. Doesn't seem that good. Alright, so it's impossible to talk about Houndstone without talking about Last Respects. So Last Respects gains 50 power for each of your other Pokemon that are dead. So, theoretically, if your other 5 Pokemon were dead, this is just a 300 base power move with no drawback. But it does have a drawback. The rest of your team is dead. So I don't really know how to evaluate this, because I think I would much rather have 5 other Pokemon than one good move. But you can do it. But if you're doing that, who's setting up the sand for you? Nobody, right? It's a very good consolation prize if your other 5 Pokemon have died and your last Pokemon is Houndstone. You can get him with some last respects, but how did your other 5 Pokemon die? How did even one of your Pokemon die? This game is really easy. So apparently you can catch this thing with 1 badge, because the lowest level one is level 25. So we can't really penalize it for availability. And even 1 or 2 Pokemon dead is already a pretty strong last respects. But it's slow, and its base stats are not that good. I'm not a huge fan. We can have these two play nice. Don't play rough, please. Play nice. It's possible to set this up to be very strong, but I don't think it's worth it. Oranguru. A Pokemon that specializes in double shenanigans. In a game with no double battles. That's not good. Normal Psychic, so Psychic type. Well, normal Psychic's not the worst normal pairing, because you do at least negate one of your weaknesses. 60 speed, 90 special attack, that's okay. Ugh, Zen Headbutt, Psychic, Chilling Water, Charge Beam. Lots of physical moves. Rock Slide, Shadow Ball, okay. Energy Ball, Thunderbolt, that's pretty good. Not the worst Pokemon ever. I'm guessing this thing... You can find this thing outside the poison area, right? So this might actually be among the finest. I think I'd rather use Indeedee. Passimian. Counterpart to Oranguru. Receiver. Wow, what does this do? Nothing. Okay. 120 attack. I like it. 80 speed. Good enough. Can we get some moves? Hello? Close combat level 50. Low kick, acrobatics, that's good. Trailblaze might use that, although you're probably fast enough. Bulldoze, you'd probably use that. Rock Tomb, you'd probably use that. Brick Break, that's good. That's what we wanted to see. Drain Punch, also good. Rock Slide, also good. Earthquake, good. Single Stage Mon Moment? Level 25-ish? Alright. Welcome to the not very exciting, but still pretty good Single Stage Evo crew. Kamala Harris, current Vice President of the United States. I think? I've never heard her speak. 115 attack, I bet you didn't expect that. 65 speed, you might have expected that. Mono normal, Hey, we get Woodhammer. Sucker Punch, that might let you go first. Can I get a normal stab move? And I don't mean slam. Facade. Break more bricks. Ice Spinner, that's good. Oh, Facade doesn't work, never mind. Somebody said Zangoose but bad. Yeah, I'd agree. Where's Stantler? I think I'd rather use Stantler. 115 attack's not that bad though. Slow. Let's do this. Let's do Lumberjack Seviper. So Seviper's got the tail here, and it's gonna cut the log. And then Kamala's gonna get a new log. And they're entering a partnership here. Symbiotic evolution. Seviper is enemies with Zangoose, but it's friends with bad Zangoose. How about that? Poetry. Larvitar. Should we invest? Now everybody knows that Tyranitar is absurdly good, right? It's invincible, it kills everything, but it's really slow. 55 base speed is really bad, and it does have Sandstream, which in this case is a bad thing. Because you don't actually want Sandstorm taking forever, and also probably damaging most of your team. Apparently it's 61 base speed. Well, I think I would definitely rather have a Tyranitar than a Goodra. So I think we're gonna put it here. Actually, if I'm remembering correctly, this thing actually gets Earthquake really early as a Pupitar. And it is in the game. And its two base forms aren't useless, they're just not very good. So I think because of that, we actually are gonna use the Dragapult to move ourselves up. So we're gonna do some teamwork here. Oh! Hey! Very bottom of area 2. It's really strong. And its two base forms, I mean, Rock Ground Stab, not that bad. Level 33 Earthquake, that's pretty good. It's a little slow when it finally gets there. But it is a Tyranitar. Like, how do you die? I don't think you can. Bagon's definitely better. Bagon's definitely better. Ice-Q. James Turner made this Pokemon. Can you believe it? It's so inspired. Its ability, Ice Face, is like Disguise Plus? Because it can actually be refreshed by Snowstorm. Now, it starts in Ice Face form, which has these stats, unfortunately, but after you take one hit, you're set up, and then you can go into the No Ice, Noise Face, which, hey, you're going first. It doesn't actually change your offensive stats, though. Uh-oh. What moves do we get? Oh, 65 special attack. Stab, Freeze Dry, Non-Stab Serve. Avalanche makes you move second. Zen Headbutt, I guess you could do that. Ice Punch. Iron Head. Liquidation's not bad. Actual shoutouts to Belly Drum. So you can use a Mirror Herb to get Belly Drum, and it's actually not that risky to do because your Ice Face is going to absorb the first hit you take. So you can sacrifice half your HP to actually become kinda good. Now, are you gonna spend a turn every single battle to make yourself usable? Damage that you then have to heal off in the next battle? I don't think so. No. Breaking news that apparently breaks through the Ice Cube. Ice Face only stops physical moves. So if you get hit with a special attack, you just die. This might be among the finest. I think Wooper and Igglybuff, they've been hugging, but now they're gonna be cooperating. I think they're just gonna enjoy some ice cream. Turner also made Vanillish, right? So they're both licking this ice cube. Pincurchin. Do you know this Pokemon existed? Be honest, okay? This thing is apparently not the sea cucumber Pokemon. It's known as the sea urchin Pokemon. Well, that's news to me. Type Mono Electric. 101 attack, that's not that bad. 15 speed? Ugh. Also, what is this design? It's just an orb, but they put the butt on the front. What? Doesn't even learn Thunderbolt by level. Give it the Thunderbolt TM. Zing Zap is cool. Zing Zap. 80 base power physical electric move. May cause flinching. 30% chance. Let me rephrase that for you. 15 base speed. The flinch chance is 0. Finest for sure, right? I just think it would be way better if it actually had Electric Surge available, and not as a hidden ability. And if it had Stab Water, it would actually be almost okay, but it doesn't. I think we're gonna use this in our little portrait that we're building here. So Igglypuff's a balloon. It's gotta be careful. We're gonna add a bit of danger. So Pincurchin's not quite under it, but it's close. Igglybuff, be careful. Dangers lurk below you. Just like dangers lurk in the chat. We've got another bot. Hang on. No hot girls in this city, okay? Palisand. Sandygast. Ghost Ground. Okay. 110 defense. Who cares? 100 special attack. Barely not good enough. 35 speed. Abysmal. Well, at least you get this thing early, right? 42 levels for this. Oh, the typing's actually better than it looks, right? Because with Water Compaction, it's like Water Absorb, except instead of the health, you get +2 defense. Just kidding, there's no immunity. You still take full damage. Compare this to Darkspon's well-baked body. Hilarious. Do we at least get good moves? We're looking for special moves here. Mega Train, we're not looking for that one. Shadow Ball, level 47. Earth Power, level 54. What? Giga Drain, super slow. Super late Evo. Not worth it when you get there. I'm thinking this is among the finest. We're gonna add to our portrait again here. We're at the beach enjoying some ice cream. I think we're also gonna build a sandcastle. No, Igglybuff, watch out! Oh, okay, well, look at that! Automatically dodged the getting popped by the Pincurchin. Oh, great. We're telling a whole story. Alright, C tier time. This should be pretty easy. Slowbro. Well, we don't have to look this one up. It's slow. Water Psychic is a good typing, but the Slowbro Evo is also kinda late. It's a water type, it can't be that bad. The C tier awaits, my friend. It's probably worse than Basculin. It's also got a really good move pool, though. You get, like, Flamethrower and stuff. Slow King, I think, has the exact same stats, but defense and special defense are flipped. It's probably easier to get this because it's a trade evo. You can do it instantly, you don't have to level it up. But it's also harder to get it because it's a trade evo, and trade evos in this game are pay to win. I don't think it's enough of a difference to rank it lower. They're basically interchangeable. Slow. For some reason, this guy gets a signature move that sets snow? It's called Chilly Reception. Apparently you tell a joke so bad that it starts a snowstorm and switches you out. That's a Japanese thing, because in Japanese, when you tell a bad joke, the response that you say is samui, which means cold. So that's why the move works that way. I could use pants. Shellos and Gastrodon. Hope you liked using these guys in Diaper Remake and Legends Arceus, because they're back in this game. Well, they've got an East Sea form and a West Sea form. Where do you think these guys go? Better than Barboach, I guess. Water Ground, pretty great typing. Would be even better if you had stats. They had Storm Drain. At least their immunity move actually gives immunity. Palisand, you suck. Shelder. Stone Evo. I think that's enough to actually escape the sea in this game. Of the setup Pokemon that you would consider using, you might actually consider using this. So Skill Link is not a hidden ability, you can just have Skill Link. And although Cloyster is thought of as like a purely defensive Pokemon, it's really not. Like 70 speed is okay. 95 attack, probably higher than you thought, right? 85 special attack? Oh, look at these relearn moves. Level 5 Razor Shell. Rock Blast. Where's Icicle Spear? Oh, here it is. I don't know, I think this thing's pretty good. You don't even need to Shell Smash, but you can. Top of Area 2? Also, this thing can Shell Smash for basically free because it lowers your defense and your special defense. Your defense is so high that it does not matter, and your special defense is so low that it does not matter. But this is not up here just because it has Shell Smash. You don't even need to Shell Smash to do a lot of damage. Stone Evo's good. Let me smash. I think it is better than Weasel, you're right. Now, there's a lot of Pokemon in this game. I think we're ranking over 250, so you have a lot of options, but you really only need one. So you have Qwilfish. Qwilfish is a water poison type. Water is one of the best types in the game. So that's already a really major point going for it. The poison type gives it a lot of defensive utility. And Tentacruel isn't in this game, even though Tentacruel would normally outclass it. So if you want to use a water poison type, your only option is to use Qwilfish. I say it's your only option as if that's a restriction. Why would you want to use anything else? I think Qwilfish can fulfill all of your needs. Really, there's no other word for it than convenient. Yeah, I would describe it as convenient. How convenient. How convenient. You don't even need hands to use it, man. How convenient. How convenient. How convenient.
Rotom record day 1. It was a long flight from Johto, but I finally arrived in Paldea's Port Marinata today. I can't believe they're sending me on a business trip just to buy some seaweed. Oh well, a job's a job, I guess. Supposedly they sell the stuff at auctions. With all the money the boss gave me, I could probably buy the whole damn town. Just gotta wait for the goods to actually go on sale. Spent the whole day in the auction hall, but no luck. Just vitamins and designer Pokeballs. I had a ham sandwich for lunch. Wasn't too bad, but I can't say I understand why everyone talks these up so much. I'd give it maybe 3 stars. Weirdest thing I saw has gotta be some lady taking her Qwilfish out for a stroll. Yeah, a Qwilfish. You know, the aquatic Pokemon? It just kinda flopped after her. Must have been in terrible pain. And the lady kept muttering, "How convenient," over and over. I personally don't see what's so convenient about suffocating your pet fish, but maybe Paldeans are just built different. I don't know. My biggest problem right now is finding somewhere to stay. I thought you'd be able to crash at a Pokemon Center like back home, but centers here are just pit stops. No walls, and tons of ads. Makes sense, they gotta pay the bills somehow. I didn't see any signs for any hotels or inns. Mouths must go unfed a lot around this place. At the very least, this auction hall has a roof, so I could get some shut-eye here, but I wouldn't mind nabbing the seaweed tomorrow and hopping on the first Squawkabilly taxi out of here. Rotom record day 2. Still no luck at the auctions, but not for lack of trying. Looks like I'll be here at least another day. I'm getting kind of worried, and not about the auction listings. I saw some kids today jabbing a Qwilfish while jeering, "So pokey, so poisony." I know we're past the Hisuian days where we were scared of Pokemon, but kids shouldn't be playing with poisonous Pokemon like they're toys or something. That lady was still walking with her pet Qwilfish, by the way. At least, I think it was her? It could have been a different lady, but whoever they were, they also remarked about how convenient it was. Tried another sandwich. How could I not? It's the only thing they sell around here. I ordered a seafood one this time. It is a seaside town after all, but it was awful. I only managed to choke down a few bites. It was bitter, and they left some bones and barbs from whatever fish they used. Can't wait to get home and grab some jelly donuts. I had some time to kill, so I tried taking a stroll along the beach. I found a shoal with dozens of them. Just a horde of Qwilfish. I guess if you wanted to catch one, yeah, it'd be pretty convenient, but why would you ever use a Qwilfish? Come to think of it, back during the battle interview for my position at Meganium Medicines, my boss used a Qwilfish. I always thought that was weird, but I chalked it up to him going easy on me. There's no explaining some people's favorites, I guess. I walked through the whole town, checked every nook and cranny, and didn't find a single sign advertising a place to rest. Looks like another night roughing it in the auction hall. Hopefully it's my last. Rotom record day 3. Something is seriously wrong here. It was the same lady walking her quillfish, but it also wasn't. There's 2 of them. At least 2, who knows how many more. I figured out why there aren't any inns here. There aren't any shops or houses either. Every door I tried, I can't even say they were locked. They didn't lead anywhere in the first place. This whole town is just some sort of facade. For what? Call me crazy, but I'm starting to think the lady wasn't walking the quillfish. The quillfish was walking her. Think about it. You're some fish, not a particularly strong or cute one, stuck in some brackish beach water, but somehow you find a way to force the local humans to worship you, take you for walks, pamper you. Wouldn't you describe that as convenient? Now that I said that out loud, I realize I sound nuttier than a squavid. I really wish my box link worked in this region. I'd feel a lot safer if I had my Pokemon with me. You know what? I'm calling this assignment off. I can't spend another night in this auction hall. They might fire me, but I'd rather be unemployed than... I don't even want to think about it. Once I explain what a creep show this place is, I'm sure the boss will understand. Huh? No thanks, I'm not interested. Yes, I know it's convenient. I said I'm... Hey, let go! Let go of me! Ah! Who the hell are you people? No. Is that a quillfish? Or maybe it used to be. Charizard, save me. No. Not the quills! All over my eyes! My eyes! Ah! How convenient.
Sorry, I spaced out there for a second. Quillfish? This thing sucks. What? This is a quillfish. Like, it's better than Psyduck. At least it has 2 types. I don't know why you would ever use this. But, like, it's outclassed in pretty much every aspect, except for just that it is a water type. I can't recommend this to you. Nothing weird happened while I was, like, spaced out, right? Nothing inconvenient happened. Okay, good. Like, if this thing had an evolution, maybe like an alternate, better offensive dual typing, this might be better, but as it is, like, I can't put this any higher than Area C. Maybe in the DLC. Does Overquill lose speed? I don't actually know. I don't think it does. Let's see. So this is base Quillfish. Hisuian Quillfish has the same stats. Overquill has the same speed. Good attack, though. You don't even have to memorize a new speed stat. How convenient. So I think by this point, about 11 hours into the stream, we've been interrupted on average once an hour by a bot telling us that we can find love in our city. And yet all I can find is this thing. Romance is dead. Love disc. Ugh. It's pretty fast. It's about the most I can say. I guess this thing was never really supposed to be good though, right? So, can Love Disc be a part of the story? I'm afraid that Love Disc is so bad, I can't add it to our beach narrative going on here, okay? In this case, love loses. This is a purely platonic friendship, okay? We can make a bit of a narrative here. So Tropius is checking him out. That's rude, Tropius. Don't do it. Can love bloom on the coastline? Maybe. Finneon. I'm not gonna ask if you liked using this thing in Daipa Remake and Legends Arceus because you didn't. Nobody did. Who cares about Finneon and Lumineon? These might actually be the most whatever Pokemon ever. Doesn't even come with Ferb, it's just Finneon. Stay tuned for the Finneon and Furret reboot. Let's see the stats. It actually might not even be in the sea. I cared about this Pokemon so little, I didn't even notice its stats were nice. Atrocious. Also, keep in mind that because of �𝐔𝐿, this Pokemon replaced another one. So whatever your favorite Pokemon is that's not in this game, it got turned into a Lumineon. Sad. Bruxish. I'll give James Turner this much credit, at least this design is memorable. It's hideous, but I'll remember it, even if I don't want to. It's a water psychic type. Already had 2 of those in the game. Let's add 1 more. I did look at the stats beforehand, so I don't actually want to sell this thing short. It's actually, like, not that bad, right? 92 speed, 105 attack, and it gets some okay moves. Crunch, Aqua Tail, Bite, Psychic Fags eventually, Wave Crash. Yeah, we can put this above Wingull. Not a Luvdisc Evo. Have you seen Alomamola's stats? Really bad. The caring Pokemon. Too bad nobody cared about you, Alomomola. You didn't deserve this. 40 special attack. What are we gonna be using our 75 base attack on? Zen Headbutt. Waterfall. Liquidation's good. Play Rough's good. Pound! Horrible. Definitely not qualified for the C. It actually might be worse than Sableye. Tropius, he's getting a real show today. Tropius used Leer. We're building our own plot line here. Skrelp. It's a water poison type? So I'm inclined to put it in Area C. It eventually becomes a poison dragon type. That sounds pretty good, right? When's eventually? Eventually means 48. 48 levels. For this. How good's Skrelp? It's not good. Dead weight for the longest time. All just to tie special attacking titans like GoGOAT. Pass, okay? Where's Noibat? It's definitely worse than Noibat. I think Cacnea is better. Clauncher to, I think, Clawitzer? It's a parallel to Skrelp, so it's probably pretty comparable, right? Pure water, so that's a bit disappointing, but not that bad. Mega Launcher, good ability. 120 special attack, that's good. 59 speed, that's disappointing. How late's the Evo? 37. Still pretty late, but much better than Dragalge. That 120 special attack is actually even better than it looks, because a lot of your best moves get boosted by Mega Launcher. I'm feeling like we can add some shrimp to the sea. Can I get some speed, please? Tynamo. So Tynamo is infamously awful. Completely useless until it evolves to Electric, and then it's a Stone Evo, so you can go straight to Electros, who's a levitating electric type. It has no weaknesses. It's invincible, wow! It's not invincible, but it is pretty good. This thing was pure garbage in Gen 5, because you had to actually dedicate XP to it until level 38 to make it actually usable. But in this game, with passive XP, it's not that bad. But I think considering you can jump straight to Electros, once you reach the first stage, it's not going to be among the finest. Croagunkish? Let's look at Electros' stats. 50 speed? You gotta do better than that. At least, it says 80 defense, 80 special defense, but this is actually infinite because it has no weaknesses, don't worry. Great attack stat. Stomping Tantrum even though it levitates? Okay. Crunch. Liquidate. Good moves. I think we're gonna drop this down. Great moves, though. Marini. Evolves into Toxapex, one of the most hated Pokemon of all time. Would you like to have fun in a competitive battle? Toxapex says no. Incredible defenses. This thing never dies. Neither will your opponent, though. It's totally useless. We can add another spiky threat below Igglybuff, I think. Watch out, Igglybuff. The danger's grown. Ooh, good idea. Okay. Let's make this storyline. So, it's jealous. Tropius Senpai, why won't you notice me? Tropius only has eyes for Luvdisc, okay? So apparently, At Game Freak, they just scanned an image of a flamingo, I guess to use as concept art, and they forgot to actually make it into a Pokemon. This is literally just a flamingo. I think one comparison that people usually make between older and newer Pokemon is that older Pokemon look like animals, and newer Pokemon don't. Well, they really overcorrected with this thing. It's just a flamingo. If you search Flamigo on, like, Google Images, you just get flamingos. How strong is this thing? Flying fighting. Scrappy, so that fighting type is hitting everything. 115 attack, 90 base speed. And by the way, you get this thing on Route 1. One of the best Pokemon in the entire game. What were they thinking? Fully evolved stats right at the beginning of the game. No downside. It's like Staraptor, but you don't have to evolve it. What are the first 3 major fights in the game? Bug type loses to Flamigo. Grass type loses to Flamigo. Cloth the Rock Titan loses to Flamigo. Okay. We got an M for Monkey. It's at an F for Flamingo. We got some MFs up here. I'm so upset that something this boring that I couldn't even find full res art of gets to be this strong. Does it fall off by late game? Not really. Other Pokemon probably are better, but it's not like it matters that they're better. Flamigo is good enough. Why in the world is this on Route 1? Seth, is that you? Titania, is that you? It's probably better than Mankey. I would say it's the best Pokemon in the game, but that's a truth I can't accept, okay? It's so boring. Something I will defend Flamigo for, though, is the name. I know they just deleted a letter from Flamingo, but it's a Flamingo and it's your amigo. It's your Flamigo, okay? That's fine, alright? How about this learn set? Pretty much starts with double kick, gets stab, gets wing attack nice and early. Eventually, we're brave. Also, leave it to Game Freak to make a Pokemon that's just a real animal. What are a Flamingo's most distinctive traits? Its pink plumage and its long spindly legs. It's got double kick, but it pecks you twice. Pathetic. Apparently you can also get acrobatics really early. You don't really need it, but if you want to make the game even easier, go ahead and use a 110 base power stab move. Great balance, guys. Open up your portfolios. Do we want to invest in Dratini? Dratini you can find in the lake, and then it's like level 52. So just a couple more levels and you're already at Dragonite. Unfortunately, the game is over. So this isn't really an investment opportunity, it's just there if you want it. The question though is, why would you use Dragonite when you could use this guy who's better? Not that Dragonite is bad, but Salamence is just overall way better. Apparently you can also just catch a wild Dragonite. Not really any reason to do that though, when it's so easy to get the wild Dratini up to Dragonite. I think like low area 3, it's very strong. You can use it at the very end of the game if you want. I think we're gonna put this with the other investment opportunities. It's perfectly fine, but like the game is over, so it's gotta be really good. It's definitely better than Goomy. Look how close they are. Here we go, Dragon Tales, okay? That's what we're telling here, not Dragon Stories. Dragon Tales. Snom! Cutest Pokemon in the game? Maybe. I got the Snom from Mom here. She sent it to me a couple months ago. Adorable. Now, you can actually get it from a trade kinda early. You trade a Flabebe for it, and probably the biggest point in Snom's favor is that it is a friendship evo, so you can feed it some sandwiches, evolve it pretty much immediately. What kind of stats does it get? Ice Bug, that's not great, but I guess it could be worse. 125 special attack, I like it. 65 base speed though, slow. It does have the Moth trump card of being able to eventually spend one turn and destroy the rest of the battle. If this got a really good ice move upon Evo, I'd be a lot more excited about this. Level 32 Bug Buzz is not bad. And 65 speed, it's bad, you're probably gonna get hit sometimes. It's not like 40 speed though. You can maybe outspeed. I think with the instant stat boost, I think he's nibbling at Appleton, how about that? He's getting a little snack. His mandibles are right there. Got him. Like, you can be slow with a good attack and good defense, but being slow with good attack and this typing? I don't know. Well, I do know. I wouldn't recommend it. A Snover evolves into Obama Snow. Now, let me be clear. This Pokemon is not good. So, Snow in this game was buffed? Kind of. It's overall a buff. Certainly in-game it's a buff because it no longer hurts your teammates who are almost certainly not Ice types. It buffs your Ice type's defense by 50%, so it's as if they're not an Ice type, if they're getting hit by physical attacks. Some of the worst typing ever, if you get hit, you're probably going to get obliterated because you're weak to everything. Mediocre speed, mediocre offense. Vespiquen runs a monarchy. Obama Snow. He leads the democracy. I think we'll give democracy the edge here, but not by much. At the very least, you can use perfectly accurate stab blizzards, assuming you don't get completely ruined by overworld weather. Look at this, 92 mixed offenses, 60 speed. Ugh. 60 speed with this typing. Doesn't clear, that's true, it doesn't clear the GoGOAT check. Delibird. Almost certainly, you're going to be seeing this at some random point in the future, but on the day of recording at least, Merry Christmas to you all. It's Christmas Eve for me, I guess. You probably have great memories of Christmas. I don't. I hate it. It just reminded me how I'm unwelcome in the American cultural zeitgeist. Everybody having fun, watching Christmas specials, eating pork, not for me. Christmas evokes nothing but painful memories. I've always hated it, and I don't think that'll change. I think we're supposed to be talking about Delibird. It's bad. But you knew that already. I think it's okay that it's bad. Not every Pokemon has to be good, right? So like Tropius, it's a lot more sinister because it fools you. You expect something cool from your banana dino, and you get a Tropius. With Delibird, what are you expecting? Nothing, right? It presents itself, present signature move, as terrible, and it is terrible. At least it's honest. At least there's a pretty funny glitch in this game where Delibird takes its revengeance. Now at the moment, in the current era, this guy has to deliver presents by hand. Maybe if they automated his job, he'd be a little better. Maybe in the future. Can Delaflora be together? Yeah, we can do that. In honor of Delaflora from the Snag Swap, here you go. Reunited at last. 𝐻𝐃 and Beartic. 𝐻𝐃 is the representative for small ice for a reason. At least Beartic hits hard. It's basically Ursaring with a better, but also worse type. I would rather attack with ice than normal, but I'd rather be attacked as a normal type than an ice type. Slow, bulky ice type. Where's Teddiursa? Teddiursa's way better. I mean, if we put Glaceon here, let's just put them together. Build-A-Bear Factory, a subsidiary of Build-A-Tier List Factory. Bear pair. I'll be honest, Glaceon's probably better than this thing, but I don't want to break up the pair. And I will say that Beartic does pair very well with Obama Snow, because if you get Slush Rush going, you'll probably go first, and you also won't mind too much if you get hit because of the defense buff, so actually has some potential if for some reason you decided to go with President Obama Snow on your team. Glalie. This thing's really bad. Really bad. 80 in all stats is horrendous. Pure ice type. No thank you. Where are we gonna put this thing? Here? Oops, all 80s. Doesn't do anything useful. Barely fast enough to sometimes go first. Dies if it gets hit. Doesn't kill things when it hits. Just awful. Now Frostlass. It's not great, but it's got a couple traits that make it way, way better than Glalie. They are nowhere comparable, even though they have the same stat total. First of all, this thing's way faster, so it's definitely going first. It's got a secondary type, and it's a great secondary type. It's Ghost, and perhaps most notably, you have to level up Snorunt to get this garbage. and you can just Dawnstone this one right away. I think being a Dawnstone Evo is actually a huge deal. Now, its potential is still kinda bad. Yeah, no good relearn stuff. Is there a reason you have to wait till level 61 for Shadow Ball? Would it really be too strong coming off of 80 special attack? Yeah, RIP move ball. I think we're gonna move this down. 80 in both offenses is not great, but hey, you can Dawnstone her right away as soon as you catch a female Snorunt, which is pretty annoying. We'll do a pair here because Drifloon apparently abducts little kids, and Frostlass is based on Yuki-onna, which is a yokai of the icy mountains that abducts lost travelers. Get abducted. Cryogonal. Probably better stats than you remember. 105 speed? Hey, that's okay. 95 special attack? Hey, that's almost okay. Now, Cryogonal used to be completely unusable, but don't worry, Game Freak, they recognized how bad it was, and they buffed it, okay? They increased its defense by 20, and its HP by 10. Good thing they didn't go too far. Ice is a pretty good offensive type, and with this speed and special attack, you're probably going first and doing something. Imagine your better attacking stat, still not passing the GoGOAT check. What kind of moves do we get? Ancient Power? That's okay. Night Slash, we'd never use that. Hey, Freeze Dry, that's good. Solar Beam, what are you doing? Flash Cannon. Overall, pretty bad moves. I think we're gonna end up putting this next to Obama Snow, which is higher than I thought I would put it, but like, it's decently fast. Ice Beam and Freeze Dry is okay. Freeze Dry is really good, but the rest of its move pool is pretty bad. Next to Bronzor, its mirror brother. Okay, let's storytelling. What happens if you put a mirror in front of a mirror? It's just an infinite combo. Cetoddle. Good news for Cetoddle. Ice Stone Evo, which means you can get it right away. What kind of stats do you get? 170 HP, that's nice, I guess. 113 attack, okay. 73 speed, almost good enough. The Terra Whale Pokemon. Not confusing at all in a game with Terra in it. You could go with Thick Fat or Slush Rush. Kind of a hard choice. Obviously, if you have Snow on your team, you want to do Slush Rush. But Thick Fat, with this speed, you might be getting hit, and you might actually appreciate the Thick Fat. Bounce. Ice Spinner's good. Bulldoze is okay. Stomping Tantrum's okay. Liquidation, that's pretty good. Play Rough? Pretty good moves. Earthquake? Yeah. Better than I thought. Really bad in-game model where it's just like one smooth texture. I'm thinking like high area 3. Well, apparently it's available at level 20. Considering it's level 20 and a Stone Evo, I think we can go ahead and put it area 2. Cetoddle Howard, it just works. Avalugg. When you hear iceberg, what comes to mind? The Titanic? A disaster? Disaster's right. Well, Avalugg is good enough for the Champions team. That must mean it's a good Pokemon, right? Oh no. Now, Avalugg is kind of a strange case. We meme on it a lot, but these physical stats are actually incredible, right? Why in the world is this an ice type? I don't know if there's any Pokemon that gets killed more by its typing than Avalugg. Literally glacial speed. Barth, is that you? It's an ice type because it's an iceberg, Cheese. Thanks for the explanation. This is why I need the chat to help me. You can get Avalanche, it always moves second, but hey, you were doing that anyway, so not like that's much of a downside. Crunch, that's alright. Stomping Tantrum, okay. Body Press, hey, great. If this wasn't an ice type, it would probably be like middle of area 3. It's definitely in the team of takes a hit and then kills you. But yeah, ice type. Lol. Above Fortress, maybe? Big attack stat. It would probably be better if it had a dual type, but I mean, you never know. They're really mean to base Avalugg, so if they were to give it a dual type, they'd probably make it like Rock or something. Oh, good thing they didn't do that. Rufflet. It's way worse than Staraptor, because Staraptor is faster. And for some reason, well, and I know the reason, because it's an Anovamon, its evolution is like level 52. Why? Oh, I'm sorry, it's not level 52. It's level 54! At least make it level 50, okay? One for each state. But no, you couldn't even do that. Put it here-ish? Once you get 2 Braviary, it's okay? But this thing should evolve at like level 30. I think at this point, they should honestly just go in and retcon the Unova level up levels. They should just lower them. Is it inconsistent with the previous games? Sure. Just do it, okay? Fairy type didn't exist for 6 gens. Lower Unova level evolutions, okay? Speaking of which, be sharp. It's an Unova Pokemon. You know what that means. Level 52. Why do they do this? B Sharp actually is pretty great once you get it. Dark Steel, excellent typing. 70 base speed. I'm gonna say it's too slow, but not by much. 125 attack is excellent. And you know what? They gave it an evolution this gen. King Gambit. Oh, look at this bulk. Huge bulk. Later gen evolution. Don't lose speed challenge. Impossible difficulty! Why? To be fair, this Pokemon is very good at using Sucker Punch, which doesn't care about speed, but I'd rather not have to rely on the opponent attacking me. I would just like to attack them and kill them, no questions asked. So I'm actually going to say that B Sharp is better than King Gambit. You should not evolve it. It's also very difficult to evolve. It has such an obtuse evolution method. It's not necessarily hard, but you have to have B Sharp defeat 3 B Sharp that are leading packs of Pawniard. You're never gonna figure that out. But you have to eat like a steel encounter sandwich, then run around the bamboo thicket that's in the middle of Spain, and then eventually you can become a king. Don't do it though. Now the crazy evil level really isn't that bad because the Pawniard you find are already pretty high level, but this is basically an endgame Pokemon. Although you can catch Pawniard earlier, it's useless. So this is pretty much just available at level 52. How does it hold up? Well, for not really being in the game, it's not that bad. It's pretty good once you get it. So I think that's like a high area 4 placement, right? I'd probably rather use Dragonite, I think. I guess we will mention King Gambit's ability. So you gain 10% attack for every ally you have that's fainted. So you gain strength from your minions dying for you. And if your entire team is dead, you get Intrepid Sword. Well, Intrepid Sword's pretty good, but I wish my team was alive. But it definitely is a Pokemon that can make a strong last stand. And the top champion shows you how to do it, because she sends out King Gambit last when it's fully buffed. Really terrifying. At least I think she does that. I mean, why wouldn't she? Dino? 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 I don't know. Is this the highest level Evo in the entire series? Level 64 Final Evolution. Even a decade later, a Nova moment reigns supreme. I will actually say that that level is unusably high. They must be referencing the Nintendo 64. Of course, this is a Nintendo 64 game, so there you go. Very flavorful. Good comment. Now, Hydreigon, once you get it, it is pretty good. I think the level is so high that I can say that you don't get it. Now, you can catch Dino, I think, much earlier. You can have it on your team. It's useless, though. But you can have it there. It basically just takes up space. I think I might rather be Chonky. Notably, there's Zweilous maybe, in Area 0 that you can catch, and they're like level 59, so those are probably the ones you want to evolve to complete your Pokedex, but pretty much unusable in-game. The highest you can get to is Zweilous. And I mean, it's got hustle and decent physical attack. You can do some damage, but you can do so much better than that. I think this gets the dishonor of being the worst pseudo in the game. You could definitely argue for this being even lower though, depending on how much you value the final Hydreigon evolution. Alright, you know what, if we put Dreepy all the way up here, we're probably gonna move Dano a little bit higher up. No, he's definitely worse than V-Sharp. So here it is, okay? We're telling a story. These two are good friends, and Pawniard, he's keeping the peace. Dino wants to play with him, Pawniard says no. He's keeping him safe. Wingman Pawniard. Vaultin Veluza. More like Vaultin Veluzer. The jettison Pokemon. Jettison this from your team. Did we really need another Water Psychic type? Not that Water Psychic type's a bad combo, but really? 70 base speed, 102 attack, that's okay. Gets a signature move, Fillet Away. It's like Shell Smash, but it actually has a downside, because it'll kill you. Final Gambit. Great for getting Veluza out of the way. It's really not that bad. I think we're being a bit harsh on it, but I mean, I'd rather use Bruxish. Sad. Also, for some reason, I feel like I see this thing a ton in game. I feel like I always see Veluza. Why is this thing everywhere? Vaultin Veluza. Now, if this thing actually had access to sharpness, I'd be a lot more excited about it, but hidden ability, so no. This thing should definitely have been Water Steel instead. That would have been much better. Don't utter Veluza and Barrascuda in the same breath, okay? Dondozo. I can't wait to bomb some Dondozos. So this thing is really thick. These two are supposed to work as a pair, so they have a unique mechanic in doubles where they can pair up with each other, and their stats kind of reflect that. Because Dondozo is the brawn, as in like it's the health, and Tatsugiri is like the actual offensive part. There's no double battles in this game, there's like 5. And the only ones in the game are all part of the Ghost Gym, which you will probably face before you actually reach the lake, where you can actually catch these. So you're going to be using these in their solo forms? How good are they? 35 base speed. You don't want to see that. This thing is basically wet, physical Snorlax. Do we get any good moves? Noble Roar. Body Slam. Aqua Tail. Order up! Zen Headbutt, Stomping Tantrum. Body Press, Crunch, Liquidation, Earthquake. We get decent moves here. I think this is a low C tier Pokemon. It's probably better than some of these, but it's so late. Like, this is pretty much last gym, and it's not that great once you get it. I also am gonna penalize Dondozo and Tatsugiri a bit, because to get them, you have to go to the lake. I know that you have to go to the lake anyway to, like, finish the story, but the performance in the lake is so atrociously bad that I don't want to do it. Like, I actually want to just turn the game off and do something else. To be fair, I feel that the entire time, but I really feel it at the lake. Alright, let's talk about Tatsugiri. This cute little sushi thing. It's got a bunch of different forms, but these forms only interact with its pair-up mechanic with Dondozo, which does not matter in-game, because it is never happening. So what is this thing? There's no way it passes the GoGOAT test, right? The GoGOAT test is 97 special attack. This thing's like a wimp. Never mind. Now, I knew going into it that this thing had crazy special attack. I already knew, okay? Did you know that I have Streamer Trick? Charizard only has 109 special attack. What in the world? This thing dies to a light tap on the head, but that's why you're supposed to pair it with Dondozo, who tanks for it, but you can't. Because this game has no double battles. The move pool I checked beforehand, the move pool's horrible. This move pool sucks. It's awful. Water and Dragon and Icy Wind. Have fun. So despite having great stats, it has the same availability as Dondozo, so almost none, and its move pool is atrocious. At least they can pair up in the list, right? Order up. Frigibix! The pseudo-legendary of this game. Investment opportunity alert. Do you want to invest in Frigibix? I'm gonna say yes. What is the payoff for your investment? Dragon and Ice? Suspicious typing, but hey, I mean, Ice is good on offense. Do you have offense? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you do. 87 speed, good enough. 145 attack, more than good enough. Let's do it. Level 35 to Arctibax. Arctibax is okay. I think that Gabite fights better than Arctibax, but Arctibax is okay. It's not completely useless. Baxcalibur at level 54. This thing is good. When you evolve, you get Glaive Rush, which, ironically, because it has a terrible animation, is actually the best animation in the game. Because the terrible animation plays into the Godzilla theme. Because in the old Godzilla films, Godzilla's attacks actually looked like Glaive Rush. It's really funny. I also think Glaive Rush is a really well-balanced move. Great power, great accuracy, and it does have a reasonable downside. The next move your opponent uses against you has no guard, it'll always hit you, and it'll deal double damage. Your opponent doesn't get a next move though, they're dead. Brick Break, Zen Headbutt, Iron Head, Earthquake? How are Arctobax's stats? Not that bad. Look, 423 total, 95 attack. We've seen fully evolved Pokemon that look worse than this. I think I am going to say that 𝐻𝐃 is a safe investment. Arctobax low area 2. Great Tusk. Remember Donphan? Do you really remember Donphan? I'm talking about Donphan from centuries ago. How could you ever forget these stats? Good Pokemon? So the Donphan forms are unique among the Paradox Pokemon, because you can actually get them outside of Area 0. Level 45, I think, is the minimum. I mean, what do I really have to say? 87 speed, that's enough? 131 attack, that's enough. I think that's enough analysis, right? Ground fighting dual type. Now, ground fighting sounds really, really good, right? Because they're two incredibly good offensive types. But they actually cover a lot of the same types, so this isn't bad, it's still good, it's just not crazy good on typing alone. This is good though. Oh, Brick Break, Knockoff, Earthquake, Close Combat, Mega Horn, Head Smash, Headlong Rush, level 91. Alright, so these moves don't really exist, but you don't need them. Ice Spinner, Play Rough. What adjective would you use to describe this? Good? Go a little further. I'd say great. Great Tusk. I just wish it was in more of the game. It's in enough of the game to be really powerful, but this is like, I think 7th gym or so, where you finally can catch level 45 Pokemon. Now, what about our friend Elon Tusk? He claims to be really good, is he? Yeah, I'd say so. Ground Steel type, so don't worry about dying, not gonna happen. 106 speed, great. 112 attack, great. 120 defense, sure. Wow. A lot of the same good traits, but you lose out on the stab fighting. But yeah, you start off with Iron Head and Stomping Tantrum. It's more than good enough. I know, like, we're not too blown away by this because we just looked at Great Tusk, but this thing is also really good. Great Tusk just edges it out a bit, though. I will say that story-wise, Elon Tusk makes a lot more sense. Because when I played the story, I was just like, oh hey, a Donphan variant. But apparently it's supposed to be like, oh no, Paradox Pokemon escaping Area 0 and disrupting the ecosystem. That makes a lot more sense with this cyborg, rather than just like a buff Donphan. Alright. This is actually the last Pokemon we are going to rank. Gimmighoul. You're on a quest for Reddit Gold. And with a small loan of 999 Reddit Gold, thanks for the gold, kind trainer, you can ascend from Gimmighoul, who sucks, it's completely useless, into Golden Go. Steel Ghost, excellent type. Good as gold, ridiculous ability. It's Clear Body plus plus. Great stats. 84 speed is more than enough. 133 special attack is doing it big. And with this bulk, even if you get hit, you're not really gonna notice it. This thing is like legendary tier. Golden Go as a Pokemon, it's the Winamon. Only 2000s kids will remember. It's like an Apple Jacks commercial. Now the question is, how quickly are you going to get 999 Reddit Gold? It depends a lot on how you play the game. So the best way to get Gimmighoul coins is not actually to explore the open world. If you go to certain landmarks like towers or ruins, you might find Gimmighoul chests, and if you defeat those chests, you get a large quantity of Gimmighoul coins. I think it ranges from like 50 to 100, but if you hit the jackpot, there's a very small chance that you get 777. if you get the jackpot �𝐷𝐔𝐃, this thing is, like, Area 1 for sure. But that's probably not gonna happen to you. You probably are going to have to spend several days collecting these coins because there's a chance that these static spawns refresh when the day changes. So it is probably going to take you a few days to get this thing. Now, if you only play like a couple minutes a day, you just check the towers, you can get this thing pretty early in your adventure. But I'm going to say that's probably not how most players are playing. Maybe we'll put this as an Area 0 Pokemon? If you play normally, you're probably going to get enough Reddit gold by probably the end of the gym circuit, in which case I'd probably put it like here-ish. It's a Pokemon you can use at the very end of the game, who's pretty strong. If you hit the jackpot, it's Area 1. Good luck, you're not hitting the jackpot. So I think we'll give Golden Go an honorary Area 0 placement. Glad they finally added a cheese-themed Pokemon. Took them long enough. It's also pretty brazen of them to add a Pokemon that gets stronger by hoarding obscene amounts of wealth. In an incomplete game, they had the audacity to sell you twice. They're laughing at us. They're showing you that greed is good. I have no idea what these things are named. In a sense, that's good, because I guess they got the exotic feeling of them being imported from a foreign land, but I have no idea what these things are called. From now on, every Pokemon is going to be in Area 0. Now, these 4 Ruin Legendaries aren't actually in Area 0, like you don't find them there, but you have to finish all the gyms, otherwise you don't have enough badges to control them. So they're basically not in the game. We're going to talk about how you could potentially use them, but in the end, I'm telling you right now, all of these Pokemon are going to be Area 0. Alright, also apologies in advance. I mean, I don't know Chinese, but I'll do my best. Wo-Chien? Dark Grass, so I think we can already say this is the worst of the quartet. Not bad stats. Defensive, though. I just think it's really funny that it has foul play, but its ability cuts your attack. Great synergy. Ting Lu? I think. Dark Ground. Hey, ground's pretty good. 110 attack, 45 speed. I think we're done here. Vessel of Ruin. Lowers the special attack stats of all Pokemon except itself. That doesn't seem particularly good to me. Not much to see here. Probably better because it at least has Ground Stab. Ground Stab's nice. Chien Pao? Dark Ice. I think I've seen that typing somewhere else in this game. 135 speed, 120 attack? I think I've seen those stats somewhere in this game as well. Sword of Ruin. Do you like your defense stat? Too bad. It's gone. I can't believe they finally added Mega Weavile. This thing is crazy. I think this thing is so strong, they actually nerfed it. Can't patch to fix the bugs, but this was urgent enough, they had to patch and nerf this thing's stats. Really good. Unfortunately, it's not actually in the game much. But I think you might actually consider using this. It is super strong. By the way, the way all of the ruinous Pokemon's auras work is that they reduce your opponent's like base stats, I think by 25%. Say goodbye to your defense stat. I don't know how you actually survive against this thing. I guess you don't. I think they reduced the base stats of all of the ruinous legendaries by 10. So it initially had 130 attack, but they really brought it in line by reducing its attack by 10. Chi-Yu? You remember when you flushed your goldfish down the toilet? It didn't appreciate it. It's back as a dark type. You're dead. 100 speed, good enough. 135 special attack. Beads of Ruin, what's that do? Do you like your special defense stat? Too bad. It's gone. This thing apparently has an effective special attack stat of 195. Fire and Dark is a pretty good stab combo, by the way. I would treasure these two. Maybe not these two so much. And now the Paradox Pokemon. Now, only these first 4 are actually usable before the credits roll. And they're only usable in one story-relevant battle. Although it is one of the most difficult battles in the game, so that's not nothing. Screamtail. Very strange stat distribution. Psychic Fairy, pretty good typing. And it's a fast tank Pokemon. Interesting. Unfortunately, interesting doesn't mean good. I don't know why you would use this, but it's cool. Flutter Mane. Well, Misdreavus actually gets justice this game. It gets double justice. How good is Flutter Mane? Ghost Fairy. You're gonna min-max? You may as well min-max like this. Looks good to me. Mega Misdreavus. It's so much better than Misdreavus. I wish it was actually in the game, and the raid Charizard wishes it wasn't. Merry Christmas, humans. Delabot, Amazon primed and ready. Same day delivery of instant death. Absurd stats. Ice Water Dual Stab is pretty good. Gets Freeze Dry. Goes first for sure. Almost certainly kills you. Wow. Now, we were lucky enough to actually use this in our playthrough because I got it from a trade to use as part of Johto's Revengeance. But unfortunately, you can only use this in Area 0 in like the last battle. But hey, it's really good. Also, this isn't Delabot's actual like art. This was done by the Red Ant from the Discord. Link in the description to their socials. Excellent art piece. I love this. Iron Jugulis? I hope I said that right. Dark Flying instead of Dark Dragon. I mean, 108 speed, 122 special attack. It seems pretty good to me. Wish it was in the game. Despite this thing actually being in Area 0, ironically, it's probably more realistic you get to use this as opposed to vanilla Hydreigon. At least you don't have to evolve it. Also, the Pokédex entry is very weird. How do you make robots? Not in a factory, apparently, is what I'll say. Brute Bonnet. I think there's a Paradox Pokemon.
Among Us.
Well, Grass Dark, it definitely is better than Grass Poison Among Us. Hey, you got a big attack stat. Can I have more than 55 speed, please? I wouldn't use this thing. But I think it does actually get Spore. Slither Wing. I think this sprite here doesn't really do it justice. This thing is really, really cute. Like, it actually, like, kind of stands up. It's got, like, a little tail. It's like a mix between Mothra and Godzilla. It's very cute. Don't let your guard down, though. Bug fighting? He's gonna punch you with 135 base attack. 81 speed? Good enough. As far as paradoxes go, it's not that great. It's kind of supposed to be there and, like, get bulky, but I want it to stay soft and cuddly. Sandy Shocks. Magneton and Magnezone are pretty good Pokemon. I'd say their main weaknesses are that Steel doesn't really help them on offense, and they're kinda slow. Well, Sandy Shocks trades Steel for Ground, a much better offensive type, and it's not slow. Sounds like a good Pokemon to me. Iron Hands. Catch these hands, and then use them in every raid, apparently. Can people bring something other than Iron Hands to a raid, please? Fighting Electric. Hey, Palmot's Fighting Electric. You get Palmot at the beginning of the game, though. Blue, green, green, orange, yellow, orange. Can I have more than 50 base speed, please? Iron Hands is really good at staying alive with Drain Punch, though, which is probably why people just spam it in raids. It's okay. Iron Moth. Totally safe to say on YouTube. Despite being named Iron Moth, this thing is literally neither iron nor a moth. 140 special attack, 110 speed. Do I need to say more? Iron Thorns. As if there weren't enough Godzilla-esque Pokemon in this game, we've added another one. It's from the future, though. Rock Electric. Interesting typing. 134 attack, 72 speed? I think I'd rather use Tyranitar. I guess the March of Progress is not a straight line. Can't beat the original with this Robo knockoff. As if this is bad, it's really not. Roaring Moon and Iron Valiant are in a slightly different class. They have, instead of a 570 base stat total, which is what all the other paradoxes have, they both have 590, so they're a little bit better. You like Hydreigon? Well then you'll love Roaring Moon. Same Great Dragon Dark typing, better stats. Wow. I guess you can't use special attacks though. Womp womp. I'll just have to make do with 139 attack and 119 speed. I feel like I've seen this design somewhere before. Maybe they'll bring it back sometime. Maybe in the DLC. Iron Valiant. Fighting Fairy. Pretty good type. Also, by far, my favorite future Paradoxmon. Because it's not just Gallade but robot, or Gardevoir but robot. But it's like a really interesting fusion of them. Also, it uses glaives. Apparently, in fantasy media, if you use glaives, you're apparently really strong. Nerf fantasy glaives, okay? 116 base speed, so you're going first. How would you like to die? Would you prefer being killed by a physical attack or a special attack? It can do both. Eat your heart out, GoGOAT. Finally, in the future, everything will pass the GoGOAT test. And last but not least, but also kind of least because they're not in the game, the cover legendaries. No surprise here, the cover legendaries are both incredibly strong, and they also buff all of these other incredibly strong Pokemon. Koraidon, Fighting Dragon, good typing. 135 attack, I'll take it. 135 speed, nice. Orichalcum Pulse, it's just Drought Plus. It's Drought Plus. Now, you don't benefit from the sun yourself, but Orichalcum Pulse still increases your attack while it's sunny, as if you needed to increase your attack. Great. Paldean Drift. How about Miraidon? Miraidon? I think I said it both ways. Electric Dragon. Pretty good typing. Hadron Engine? It's like Surge Setter, or like Electric Surge, but better. Because it also buffs your special attack while you're on electric terrain. It's basically a special version of Koraidon. I think that Miraidon is better on its own, because its stab also gets buffed by the terrain it sets. But the terrain it sets is worse than Sun. So Koraidon is probably a better team player, but Miraidon is better on its own. Now, unfortunately, although you use your cover legendaries in the final climactic battle, their stats don't really matter, because it is an interactive cutscene, and if it drags on long enough, it's not even interactive, because the game just tells you, hey, you're not gonna finish the game, well, we'll finish it for you, and then it auto-battles. You can't lose. You will always survive at 1 HP, and then the game starts auto-battling. It automatically terrors you and starts pressing Terra Blast for you. Who knew that they came with autopilot features? $5 donation from Blue Crimson 217. Miraidon has worse attack than GoGOAT, literally unusable. Well, you are right, it is literally unusable. At least for this list. Well, there we go. In only 2 segments, we completed our Pokemon Scarlet and Violet in-game tier list. Aw, look at this. Isn't it beautiful? It only took us 16 hours! The season will probably have passed by the time the premium is complete. But Merry Christmas, at least on the day of recording. You're never gonna see me again. I have to edit this list. Good thing GoGOAT was here to serve as a metric for true strength.